Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year. Welcome to the new Age Geeks channel. We're doing our uh, new...
End of year wrap
Thank
up.
you. I'm brain's going flat. I got kids trying to come in.
Welcome to the channel, everybody.
Welcome to the new Age Geeks channel. For our end of year wrap up, we're going to be doing recaps of what happened this year on the various shows. We're going to do some theory crafting on what our players think may or may not be happening, what they predict for the future, and then we are going to do a little what are they called again?
Superlatives.
Superlatives. And then some resolutions. We're going to try and chop this up in a few different blocks so we can get the various cast members in. But to start us off tonight, we have some of the members of Forging Fates with us tonight. For those of you that only watch some of our other shows, let me introduce you to three of our amazing cast members, starting with Cece. Good evening. How are you? You look amazing.
Thank you. I had to go all out, start the year off right. So I'm happy to be here, Joe.
Welcome to my show. Why don't you give us a quick rundown of who you play on Forging Fates?
So on Forging Fates, I play Finnick Crissell, the, I guess now Protector ASMR, Sorcerer Paladin multi-class. How far do you want me to deep dive?
We'll do the little deep divers in when we go on a little bit further into the what happened this year. So that's perfect for now.
Gotcha.
Our other lovely lady, Taz. Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about who you play on Forging Fates?
I play Clover. She's a hair and gun rogue. She's cute and she'll kill you. I don't know what more to say.
I don't think there's much else to say after that. And then we have our amazing Dom. Dom, go ahead and tell us a little about who you play.
Hey, I'm Damiano. I play Gormrog. It's spelled the same forwards and backwards. It's pretty easy to remember. He's a half-orc monk. The way of the open hand.
And the resident cook for the party.
That too.
The one who drives me insane with coming up with recipes and making me describe food. And
oh, we all drive you insane.
Yes, it's a universal truth for the entire show.
Listen, I don't drive you there. I just give you a ticket to the bus.
That's fair. Let's see. So a lot has happened this year on Forging Fates. We started the new year off with the final confrontation with the Calamity in Western.
Calamity?
What'd I say? I said Calamity or confrontation? Either way.
Calamity. You said the Calamity in Western. Yeah.
Whatever. They're synonyms.
Sure.
Okay.
It's a word.
Words are hard, guys. Words are hard. So, this whole arc, the Western Myriad arc, brought a lot of emotions out of a lot of characters. I would say, Taz, you and your character, who I can't remember his name.
Lyndon?
Clover, the one I just
Clover.
introduced.
Yeah, brains don't work good. You and Clover started this arc pretty much with the tragedy of Lyndon being murdered. That happened last year, but when the final confrontation got there, where you were able to get your hands on the Myriad, what was that like for you?
Well, I don't know if we're done with... Clover does not think that we're done with the Myriad, so there hasn't been a final feeling yet. The Myriad is a work in progress that she's still determined about.
How is she kind of feeling about like that situation still? Is she...
It feels like there's a lot of shit going on.
Yeah.
And she doesn't know which way to go. There's the Myriad to worry about. Now she knows that she has to go to the Feywild to find her family, which was her whole reason for leaving to begin with. But there's this like Noxblade thing going on, and the whole world is like kind of ending around her. So she's just chilling, you know?
It's a lot for this, the young Herringon.
Just chilling.
So eventually you guys were able to kind of squash the Myriad's push into Western, as far as you guys are aware. You dealt with a bunch of different organizations throughout this, the Clasp being one of them. How are you guys feeling about the relationship between the Fists of Fate and the Clasp?
I'm still trepidatious, feeling like this is a powerful ally to have on our side, but they are fickle and financially motivated. So, an entity with enough money just saying, hey, turn around, fight them instead, is really all it'll take. And suddenly we're out of luck.
Yeah, I guess at least we haven't had much of like a chance to like use the clasp to our advantage yet. I guess Fennec sort of agrees with the whole myriad thing. Like there definitely seems like there's more going on. But again, it's like keeping them at arm's length. Just being like not quite sure what's going to be happening. So
Yeah.
Clover is secretly terrified of the class. She doesn't ever want to run into them again.
Oh.
So earmuffs
Yeah,
from my top two, from Gormrog and
oh, so I gotta deafen myself now.
yeah, go ahead and
Okay.
deafen yourselves. I'll give you guys the thumbs up when you can come back.
Wait.
With this.
Okay, are we good? Okay, so
Sorry, Spirit.
for those of you that don't know, our lovely Clover has made a deal with someone. You want to tell us a little bit about that deal and what kind of led Clover to make that decision?
No. See, there's been so much growth. So this actually happened towards the end of 2022, I think, where
It
Clover
definitely did, but I just want to bring it back up because it's kind of the context.
Clover wanted so badly to kill the person who killed her brother
Redep, that's his name.
that she joined the Clasp, who is a gang, so that they help her kill the Myriad. Meanwhile, they were gonna kill the Myriad anyway. So Clover has a tattoo. She has a sending stone that's a direct link to the Clasp because she has to do fucking favors for them. It's been a while, and she's kind of hoping that it has just naturally fizzled out. And she makes some poor decisions sometimes because she doesn't think things through. But she's getting that's what she's going to do better in 2024.
I hope so. So that's what kind of where Clover's at with that. She kind of thinks it's gonna just fizzle out. Does she have any plans to utilize that link again?
He's so nervous. Jem's in the chat now. Jem, if you heard this, just pretend like you didn't.
Yeah, earmuffs.
Yeah, she's hoping that it fizzles out, but she's nervous and she
Yeah.
realizes that she did something dumb.
Yeah. Okay. Any other thoughts on it?
Not
All
right
let's
now.
Let's get everyone else back in here.
It was a riveting tale, and
can
I
tell.
am so glad to have heard every bit of it.
Hey, Cece, look up, damn it. Okay.
Sorry, got distracted.
Okay, it's all right. So kind of bringing us towards the end of the first arc, the Western arc. Eventually, you guys do defeat the Myriad in Western, and eventually are kind of given some recompense for having destroyed this almost terrorist organization that kind of invaded Western, having destroyed several buildings over the course of a few days, bringing havoc and mayhem to most of Western. Eventually, you guys are gifted a keep, or more of a home, that you guys are able to customize. Eventually building a garden, planting an apple tree, I believe, was one of the things you guys did. And let's see, from there...
at this point, we should have a second floor built as well, because
Yeah.
they said they would start it after we left.
Oh yeah, your home's certainly made progress
True.
since you've last seen it. And how was that experience for you guys? Like getting to be able to like kind of customize your own home base.
It was the best.
Was that fun? Like, is that something you guys like to do, or is
It
it
was
kind of like just?
Fun. I loved it. The cast knows this, but the viewers don't know this. I actually like created a visual of Clover's bedroom. It was beautiful and comfortable and exciting before it was completely destroyed.
Yeah, I thought it was a very fun process. However, granted how much we're traveling, not getting to use it as much, but I do hope we're eventually able to go back and actually able to utilize our new homestead.
Real quick shout out. Hello, Tabletop Misfits. Thank you so much for joining us. Happy to have you guys here. That
Hello.
being said, after you guys were gifted your house, eventually there was a celebration that took place.
Yes.
And some special guests, needless to say, made their way into Western to kind of help be a part of the celebration, being former heroes of Western themselves. Vox Machina made their way into town to kind of greet you, be there for a political meeting that had been taking place. What was that like to kind of see these, for those of you that watch Critical Role, having these characters that you know so well kind of come into this campaign?
At least for me, playing in the Critical Role world of Exandria would be incomplete without at least one of the cast's campaign. So seeing Vox Machina, like their first cast, their first crew, the original people in this world, become a part of our world as well. Really solidified for me that this is Exandria and this is part of their world, and it was really exciting to be doing our own thing here for New Age Geeks, but also bringing in a part of their world and just being connected by the people who inspired us to start this whole organization and game, really.
Yeah. Nailed it.
Yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun. It was definitely, it caught me off guard. Definitely at first, because I'm sitting here like, Vox Machina and Westrun, like for something that didn't seem like so big to us at the time. But it was also personally fun for me because, as everybody knows, Finnick grew up in Vasselheim, and by connections, she knew Pike. So sort of, it was exciting for me seeing the shock on everyone's faces when Pike recognized her, and I just thought it was a fun little surprise, and hopefully I'll be able to utilize that relationship again.
The arm wrestled.
Oh yeah, and
That's what I was gonna say.
I arm wrestled Grog.
And you were the only one who won.
Sheer luck.
Yeah,
And I did it in a flower crown.
Yep, convinced him to take off the gauntlets.
Hold up.
Real quick,
Crowns
I
all
want to say
wonky.
thank you to, I'm going to say this name wrong, Sealim? Thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. Thanks for joining us. What else kind of happened before this arc, at the close of this arc? I know some family members showed up. We got to meet one of Clover's sisters,
Astrid, yeah.
Astrid, who is a part of the Arashari. And there was a conversation there where she kind of revealed some things about what was going on with the Ashari, kind of giving a prelude to kind of some of the stuff you're dealing with now. The rifts becoming a little unstable, the things there. What did that mean to you in that moment, Clover? Or Taz rather? Did it like sink in that this might have been like something that was leading up to it?
Oh, it meant so little to me that I can't remember it at all. Like, I know she was there, and she told Whisper that she was gonna help her talk to chickens. I don't remember any serious conversation happening. So,
Um,
so but it makes sense. She's a druid and she works with Keyleth and she's in the midst of everything. So, you knew some big stuff was coming up. Just
Okay.
not one at all.
all right. I just want to give a shout out to Selim. He's coming from Bangladesh. I think this is the furthest person we've ever had on the
Holy
joining
crap.
us. So
Yep.
thank you so much for joining us from Bangladesh. That's awesome. I hope you enjoy.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. We're just doing a wrap up of all the stuff we've done throughout the year on the channel. So hope you enjoy.
Hey, note to self: maybe check in with Taz's sister in the next episode with the sending. Hey,
let me
you
know.
mentioned some stuff that I absolutely remember, but can you refresh my memory? Because
Well, and like
I'm
we've
with
also
Taz.
recently
I don't remember this conversation.
my memory's a little fuzzy, I will not lie, but we've also had a lot of stuff going on as of recently.
Yeah.
And then we've also kind of just been reminded of it that I believe that something's going on with that. So definitely something we're going to revisit, I feel. Hopefully, maybe. We'll see.
Okay. So, I mean, I dropped plenty of hints throughout when you guys will go, like, for those of you that watch and like hear kind of this end stuff, you go back and you can see some of the stuff, the threads that kind of get dragged out there very early that are going to get picked up later on. And it's been a lot of fun for me to drop these threads that they just miss, that you guys have missed, and it's been a lot of fun. So from there, you guys kind of enjoy the festivities, and eventually you come to a meeting of political powers, we'll say, of Exandria. What did your characters feel in that moment when they're kind of face to face with a lot of these heavyweights of Exandria? Was that overwhelming for you as a player, or like what kind of, both sides? How'd that feel for you on both sides?
I was
I can
so concerned with Whisper. Sorry, I don't know.
No, go ahead.
No one was speaking, so I took it.
I step back.
Yeah, I was just focused on Whisper. She looked upset. She was giving signs, and I could just tell, so I wasn't really paying attention to anyone in that room except for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was a lot of heavy hints on Whisper's storyline, which we'll get into. I'd like to get you guys' perspectives on it. This was kind of like the groundwork for that arc.
Yeah, I'll definitely say going into it, Finnick was very nervous as there was a couple people from Vasselheim there. And with her whole backstory situation, she was just nervous about being recognized. But also the whole thing with Whisper, she definitely Finnick put her worries aside to focus on Whisper. Because Whisper and Finnick were, they sort of met before they met everyone else in the group. So she definitely felt a little protective.
I'll actually deviate from that a bit. On the one hand, yes, Whisper and the focus that she became distracted heavily from what was going on in the room, especially before we knew who what's-his-face was, Belen. Before we realized who he was just a jerk in that room.
Mm-hmm.
But having the meta knowledge of who a lot of these people are, really made me as a player feel like I'm just a little guy. I'm a little guy who hits things. I don't even have magic. I am so wildly underpowered, and that's gonna be a theme here for the rest of the campaign, because that's really all I've got right now, and just getting creative with how that happens. But it really put things into perspective that like Gormrog is not a powerful entity of any kind. He's just tactically decent. And to sit in a room with, Keyleth of the Arashari and people who ride dragons and like I'm just a little guy.
Yeah. I can agree with that. Where like your character just feels so small in the world, surrounded by all these large, powerful figures.
Do you feel like that having this kind of like confrontation, we'll say, has made you adjust the way you play your character at all?
I don't think it's changed the way I play the character, but it has informed a lot of decisions that I've made. And I think that I'm leaning into it now, where it's like, yeah, I'm trying to get better at what I do because what I do is all I've got, right? Like, I'm looking at this woman with flaming wings who's got a powerful sword that shoots chaos out of her hands next to this tiny little woman who's able to disappear whenever she wants, can hear for miles, can shoot things, can cast magic. She's incredible next to this shape-shifting creature. And I'm just like, punch, punch, punch. Cool, that's it, right? Like, I'm just a guy, but I'm leaning into just a guy because that's that scene, that moment in that council is just like, oh, I've got a lane and I'm gonna stick in it.
Okay. All right. I want to kind of fast forward a little bit here, but there's one other thing I want to touch on. The first blade. You need a minute?
Touch.
Oh, you
no,
just gotcha.
touch.
You just fucking with me like always. The blade. When that blade made its first appearance, CC, Finnick was the first one to kind of like gather it together and start asking questions about it. Where was Finnick's head at initially with that?
With the Nox blade?
Yeah.
For that, she was definitely curious about it. However, with that whole basically emanating death, it definitely scared her at first. She was nervous to figure out what would happen if she like attuned to it or something. But she was very curious at first. She was very intrigued by it.
And now, eventually, Whisper, having seen her brother and kind of heard some of the things going on back at home, being visited by her sister in a dream state. And I won't go too much into Whisper's side of this story. We'll get to her later when I get to talk to Jem. Where was Finnick's mind at when she eventually found out that was stolen by Whisper?
She was kind of upset about it, about the whole fact that it was just simply taken from her and not like Whisper didn't ask, because Finnick probably would have given it to her anyways. But it's definitely like she felt a little bit betrayed, honestly.
All right.
Well, it's just because like I wouldn't go and steal a dagger from Clover or Gormrog, but
I mean, you just have to ask and I'll hand it to you. It's really not that big of a deal.
yeah, like I Finnick does understand that Whisper was in a state of like distress and anxious, like she was anxious, but it was just that thing where it's like, just talk to me, man. Just talk.
Kind of flash forwarding a little bit with all the information you guys have now about the blades. What is each of your guys' characters kind of feeling about those? Like, don't give spoilers if you're not, if you're uncomfortable with it, but where's everyone kind of feeling like they're at with these blades and having heard all you've heard about them? I think just for this point, like if you have something like, so we don't cut each other off, just like raise a hand and I'll call on, or just raise a finger up and we'll call on. We'll use Jeremy's tactic here. All right, what do you go ahead, Cece? What do you got?
It's definitely that thing. Finnick. I'll just talk as Finnick now, where I don't want those blades to get into the wrong hands. And just being scared of the whole releasing the primordials thing. Whether that be that someone else holds on to them or they're locked away, but it's also seeming that people are going to try and come after them anyways.
What about you, Dom?
But she just doesn't.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, she just doesn't want them to fall into the wrong hands.
What about you, Dom?
Yeah, I know Sammy from way back, you know. You and I talked about that in the moment, but I knew Sammy from way back, and she was part of my tribe. But now that she and Reyna have gotten each a sword of their own, and it's kind of changed them in a way that's made them hella powerful, and they were going for more power in those lanes. I'm looking at it going, I don't want to give it to them. I don't want them to have any more than they've already got, because I punched one of them and it hurt my hand. All right, like that's not something I'm used to, nor is it something I like. And it was a moment of weakness. I admit I'm usually a pacifist, but they goaded me and goaded me and goaded me, and I just snapped, and I regret it. But it's something I'm working on. I have anger management issues. It's fine, but I'm wondering if we get other swords for ourselves. Like I know Whisper has her sword. Finnick has a powerful Ra sword, but
That talks?
yeah, that's the one. But what if Clova gets a dagger that lets her teleport with a lightning bolt? I don't know. What if Tristan gets a sword to replace his katana, and he just like slashes it, and like a gust of wind comes out and just like slashes everything in the first 50 feet in front of him. I don't know. Maybe we could find something to help us become more powerful and yet also level the playing field and keep shit away from the people who shouldn't have it.
Yeah. Sorry if you wanted to say anything, Taz, or...
I know the blade's like a big deal, but it's not really at the forefront of my mind right now, so I'm just kind of along for the ride.
Okay.
Because it's definitely that thing where at the level that we're at, I don't feel like we could take them at this moment in time. And just, again, trying to find that something to level the playing field, as Gormrog said, that would be very crucial to this fight.
Yeah. So, kind of skipping over the arc of Lyringorn. Eventually, you guys getting back into these blades a little bit, you're confronted by two people, Raynor and Samael, I think her name is.
It's the Desolate One from Christian lore about the devil.
No, that's not it. That wasn't what it was.
Sammy,
whatever. Sammy.
Uh-huh.
So, the confrontation with them. They approached you very cordially, I would say. They at least tried to have the conversation. What part of that kind of turned you guys off to maybe possibly joining them?
There were some things that they had said about, like, that felt very like New World Order. We're making things the way they're supposed to be, right? Like, down with the oppressive gods, I can kind of get behind. Bringing back the titanic elemental creatures that will make everything a horrible existence for everybody, not really my thing. I'm gonna have to pass, thanks.
Okay. That's kind of the consensus. It was too much apocalypse. They were too libertarian in their ideals.
Yeah, for me, it was definitely like, yes, like some gods can be oppressive, absolutely. But trying to release something that would make things a hell of a lot worse is definitely not the solution here.
Any thoughts on how to kind of combat them? Any plans? Based off what you know now of them killing Grog, making their way into Whitestone, stealing the Titanstone Knuckles.
Well, because the Titanstone Knuckles are in Vasselheim, right?
No, they're with Grog
Or
in Whitestone.
Whitestone. I can't even begin to think of a way to combat them. They're obviously very like physically adept, as to where Finnick is not really. So obviously she has like magic and shit on her side and a lot of spells that can affect them like mentally. But it's also just trying to figure out the whole sorcerer paladin balance as well. At least she's trying to figure out what she prioritizes in order to face the challenges ahead.
Okay. Clover,
she has no idea where to start.
Any thoughts on how to combat them? Well, I'm prepared. I wake up in the morning, I train. I eat lunch, I train. I get ready for bed, I train. I am going to be ready for them whenever they happen.
Okay.
Are they going to be ready for me?
Sneak attack.
I think that's what everyone really needs to think about.
All right. So after meeting them, eventually you guys are contracted to kind of pick up. You meet a Bramblethorn Whisperer, probably the greatest adventurer bard that has ever trekked Exandria. Obviously went over gangbusters. Everyone loved him. He's phenomenal. So Taz.
Yes.
Clover's love of Bramble was completely off the cuff. I loved every second of it. It was fabulous. What made you make that decision to go that route?
You know, actually, this was a complete spur of the moment decision, like you just said. But I was sitting there like, why would Clover go out into this world without some inspiration from someone else? She doesn't really know anyone else who is an adventurer, so why would she do that? And then Bramble came along and like, oh, here's this famous guy. He's a little cocky, but he could have written some books and inspired a young rabbit girl to go find out where she came from. If he can do it, why can't she? So yeah. I had a lot of fun. When you first, I want to make it clear, sorry, I know we don't do politics. I don't support Harry Potter, but I am going to talk about Harry Potter really quick. Yep. When you first brought up Bramble, I immediately thought of Gilderoy Lockhart.
Yeah.
And while he's a fucking asshole, he hired so many young wizards to do stuff. Like, so Bramble this entire time, I've been seeing him as kind of a Gilderoy. Yeah. And I just was someone who had not seen past all of his bullshit.
Right.
But I was not in love with him. He was just
First, I'd like to say to Taz, that was very impressive. Yes, and improv moment. You like having that history with him, because I don't know if it was like the second or third episode in where we were with him. I was sitting there going, is this part of Taz's backstory? Has this been written in? Am I just being a jerk? And I was just...
I love that. No.
Like, my internal monologue is like, oh my god, do I need to apologize? Like, I've been have I been rejecting her backstory that she spent so long writing? But, like, similarly, in the moment, I was just like, nah, I don't like him. I don't know anything about him. I'm just gonna this guy's a joke and he's a jerk. So like, we're just gonna hard left. left is that way for me, actually. But hard left and just nah, you're not about it. But like, I do enjoy how Clover's reaction is informing Gormrog's willingness to be more open-minded, and just, is he really a jerk, or is he building a business? He's pushing a brand. How else is he going to get the word of Bramble Thorn Whisper out there if he's not talking about himself? Somebody has to.
Mm-hmm.
And to hear, I read all of his stories, was just like, oh, no, I'm the jerk. Right? Like,
yeah,
that choice of yours led to character development for the people around you, and I thought that was a brilliant way to drive the narrative.
Thank you.
You had your hand up first, Taz. What's up?
Well, let's CC go because I already want one. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I just like Dom, I'm sitting here like, was this a part of Clover's Taz's written backstory? But I also had that similar thought. I'm like, he reminds me of Gilderoy Lockhart. There's something that he's not telling us. And that's definitely where I kind of feel like part of CC leaked into Finnick, where she's just like, I don't fucking trust this guy. Granted, Finnick isn't a very trusting person to begin with, but it also sort of works because Finnick was never really one to read like adventure books. She was really just set in her studies, and she didn't have much time to read these adventure books or fantasy books or anything. And definitely she was feeling protective over Clover for sure, but it's just that thing where it's like, I need to realize that Clover can clearly handle herself. But it's also just that thing where it's like, I don't want something coming up and her getting hurt.
I mean, we're all going to finish this adventure, and then he's just going to cast Mass Modify Memory.
Counterspell, let's go. Yeah, it's just that thing where it's like, he's told us he's worked with a lot of other people, but obviously they aren't as well known as he is.
Or we just haven't met them yet.
A lot of options.
But yeah, just real quick, I was happy that everyone else continued to hate him so much, because the entire game, I think there's been a little bit of Clover who, like, she goes and writes in her journal and hides in her bedroom by herself, blah, blah, blah. So she's, like, been trying to pull off this little emo girl kind of thing. And having everyone so against her on this really enforced that. So I was really able to channel my little emo girl act.
Well, and then also, like, when you confronted Gormrog about the situation, that rocked everybody on the cast. Because we're just sitting here like, oh shit.
That's like the first time really Clover went out and like expressed herself in like this hostile way that wasn't just like sniping someone from the back.
Yeah.
It was great. It was really
but
great.
my thing is when she ran away to hide, she hid behind Finnick. And I'm sitting here like, my heart. Like, I love Clover with all of my heart.
So, the last story arc that we just got into, we're going to kind of skim over it fast. Eventually, you guys make your way into the Pine Mist Forest and are confronted with what, as far as you guys know now, someone who had been infected almost with this nature energy. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Like, where are you guys feeling like that's going to lead to? Anyone?
Wait, repeat the question.
Where are you feeling like, based off what you've seen with this last boss fight, and seeing how like this nature energy kind of infected him and took him over, or as far as you guys know so far, where do you feel like that kind of puts you guys. Go ahead, Cece. You had your hand up first.
Part of me, so there's two theories. One of them I feel like is more plausible than the other. The first one definitely has to do with I think it was Linus that said that the nature was acting weird, like the landscape was changing. So I think it could be something like that, or possibly like with the whole rifts and with the Ashari. The second theory that I had is somehow it tracks back to Sammy because she had like the Earth Blade. So I don't know how entirely that works, and I know they're not like in the area currently, but I feel like just also with their twisted mentality could affect that in some way.
What about you, Dom?
I also think it has something to do with the elemental shifts that we're gearing towards, but I think there is additional work at play, similar to, was it campaign 2 of Critical Role, where they had that one island that had so many different portals to different planes open up and pull this island together, where they had jets of water shooting up, and they had you know, just this natural overgrowth next to a dead forest next to, right, like all that stuff is just similarly playing out just on a larger scale of all of Exandria. And I can kind of see this as being potentially a portal to another plane that the energy is just pouring out of, not necessarily with malice, but because there's such a conflict of existence overlapping, it comes across as malice.
Right. Okay.
I don't know where that's going yet, but I
Yeah. Yeah. It's
kind of where I'm at.
kind of the theme for me, without just, you know, I'm not going to spoil things.
Where's my pad?
Yep. This was kind of a representation of the famine that the town kind of experienced, and then this like pestilence of these vines kind of creeping out. So it was fun for me to, you know, kind of take some of these themes and try and figure out a way to make a villain out of that.
So what you're saying is we need to go to war and bring about death, because
Who knows?
The
Conquest
four
might be in there
horsemen
too.
of the apocalypse.
It's almost like a blade is called death. That's crazy.
and I feel fine.
All right, so where are we now? It's kind of brought us up to where we're at. A lot of your characters have gone through a lot of experiences. I know Gormrog, you're still waiting to take your expositor's test. Where are you at with that? How does Gormrog feel about having to put that on the back burner?
So, on the one hand, Gormrog left the Rivermaw tribe to join the Cobalt Soul. Right? Everybody knows him as the cook of the party, but that's not what he wanted to do. That's how he made ends meet. Him going into the Cobalt Soul was the goal. That was him trying to get... Okay, bye, Joe.
Wow. Continue.
he's trying to get to a place where he can feel like he is serving something greater than himself that isn't a god. And it's frustrating because here's everything he ever wanted to do, and he's giving that up. But it's also for something greater than himself, and that's this group of people that he believes in, that he loves, that he trusts, that he's so devoted to. He's come to terms with it in a sense where it's like, this is everything I have been working towards, but this what I'm doing now is so much more important. I'm okay with letting it go, even if it's just a for now basis or a forever basis. It is what it is.
So, do you think he'd go back to maybe take that exam, or do you think he sort of, like, I know you said he might let it go, but my question
If
is,
the opportunity arises for him to go back and do it, yes, he's going to do it. Right, because he's been studying for years. That's how he became a monk. It's what led him to working on his anger management problems. I mean, we can get more into detail in character, but this was the life he chose for himself. So yeah, if he has the opportunity, he's going to go back and do it.
so does he feel like he got ripped away from the life that he chose, or did he make that conscious decision to continue to go on adventures with us?
Well,
Because this all started by us going to help find a lost girl.
This actually, not to point any fingers, but this actually started specifically with Whisper running away and us having to chase after her.
that's exactly what I was about to say. You're 100%
Gotcha.
correct. No. I'm glad you recognized that, because in that moment where we caught up with Whisper, I intentionally I had packed extra food for her. I had taken the time to yell at her. And I said, "You think just because you apologize, you get to come back? You get to be welcomed back with open arms? You get to be forgiven for everything? Because if that's what you think, you're absolutely right. We chased after you because you're part of this group. We love you, and we're not going to leave you to do this on your own. And I will give up this path that I'm on because I believe in you." And that's kind of, yeah, we got ripped away from it, but I could have, just said, Whisper can go on her own. These people can chase after her without me. But I chose to go and do this thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've also seen a lot of growth out of Finnick. Eventually, her regaining her fire wings. What's that journey been like for you, Cece?
Yeah, we got to talk about that.
It's been a lot, honestly, because I know when Joe and I were initially talking about the whole, like, is she able to gain her flaming wings back? He said absolutely, but it needs to make sense. Like, and I also asked, like, I need for it to be like a role play moment, like her not necessarily like changing entirely, but definitely like it was also hard to decide when to basically admit most of the full backstory to the entire group, because she's lived a pretty traumatic life. So opening up about that, she was definitely scared about reopening some old wounds, and again, the whole judgment thing, because what her family did was absolutely atrocious. The whole genocide thing. It's she doesn't want to be judged for her parents' decisions, and them blaming it on, and then them blaming it on their faith. So it's definitely that whole thing where it's like, part of me was hoping to do it without connecting to a god at some point, but then I also got the thought of, like, what if she went paladin? Like, that would give her kind of like buff her up a little bit in multiple different aspects. mainly armor class, but but also because I was also thinking that our party really didn't have a healer, so Finnick saw what the party needed, and she wanted to do that for them.
I did like how you realized that and took on that role of protector, and that just, it was really cool, that multi-classing choice.
And I definitely feel like that happened after like our house got attacked, because when that happened, she was off having a meeting. And then she came back and she's like, oh shit, they're all really fucked up.
Yeah.
And that not only fucked with me, but Finnick. The effect with Finnick and me personally. So I'm sitting here like, she was thinking, I need to be better, I need to help protect them. And she just had that fear instilled in her. Like, I can't lose these people.
All right. Well, that's going to bring us towards the end of our first hour, where we dived into the last year of Forging Fates. We ran long recapping everything, so we
So
we're
Dan,
Had a little bit of trouble at the front.
Gormrog, talk to Finnick, fuck Clover. Just kidding.
We did Clover the first.
No, you didn't.
Yes, we did. I
In
talked
this
about
last round, I went first, and then Cece went. You
no.
did
We
not
talked about
get
Clover
to-
at the beginning of the night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we learned all
Yeah,
about
because with the
her-
whole myriad situation.
Yeah, the
and
myriad.
then-
We dived into all that on Clover. Is there anything I'm missing that you guys want to talk about before we kind of get ready to move on here?
No.
Did we want to do a couple superlatives, or do we want to do that?
Let's dive into some superlatives. I just want to say, I can't say that word. I want to
Okay.
thank. I do want to thank our two guests that we had this year. Hector, who played Polaris, who was awesome, a lot of fun, a lot of tension we had there, and Adam, who played Quell, who brought a lot of really interesting dynamics to the show on his run. I want to say thank you so much to both of you guys for joining us this year. I really hope to have both of you back again when the story calls for it, because your characters were awesome, and I really want to have you guys back at some point. That being said, let's kind of dive into some the thing we're gonna do.
Superlatives.
That thing,
I
too.
do have a couple lined up if you wanted. I can take it over from here. So the first thing I would like to do is the funniest Nat 1. If you guys can remember.
Oh, geez, I don't know.
I have no recollection of any of the roles that we had, good, bad, and different.
The one that comes off the top of my mind is the amount of times I have rolled Nat 1s on initiative.
Mm-hmm.
Finnick is usually
didn't
at
do
the very last.
All the things later.
Okay. Well, because the next one was going to be the best natural 20 moment.
I'm so good. I can't pick a natural 20. Oh, I actually do have one. This was very recent, but it wasn't the best nat 20, but it made me laugh. We were in combat, and Clover just went and dealt like a shit ton of combat to an enemy, but they were still alive. And then General for Talon. Tell me how to say it again. For Talon. And he got a nat 20 and just finished him off. And I just thought that was so funny. I don't know why. But our little animal sidekick got the final kill on a big bad enemy.
You had done
Absolutely.
a decent amount of damage to the turn before.
I love
Yeah,
that.
that was I definitely know that feeling. Best out of context quote?
We need to get Hands in here for that one.
Yeah, Hands does all of them.
Hans and,
Well-
and Halcyon just killing the game with that particular line of thought. Let me jump over to the chat.
Yeah, I'm looking because we have a whole like section in Discord for this.
That is
Um,
true.
If
Oh,
you guys aren't in on Discord, you should be.
Whisper with the I can cast lightning and bing bing pow.
Also the whole just like the special equipments in the rooms. That was, and then Finnick trying to explain it to Clover, but then also realizing that Clover knows what she's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, trying to explain what?
The whole like the special rooms at the most recent inn we were at.
Yeah.
No, I'm interested in that. Do you know what it is? Yes, I do. Just stop pressuring me. I'm not a child. Like, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
But also, she did not really know, and she is. Like,
Well,
chains? Yeah, I love playing with chains.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. I think this will be the last one. Coolest combat maneuver.
I will say that I really liked in the most recent big bad battle. So if you haven't caught up, spoiler warning. There was a moment with the wall of fire going up where Clover leaps through it. Finnick explodes out her wings and flies over it. Whisper jumps on top of Talon and flies over it. It's just in my head, that's all happening at the same time. Where you got the badass bunny literally leaping through fire. The two creatures with wings going over it and just coming out en masse just to
I would
take on.
kill for fan art of that moment, honestly.
Yeah, that's good. That is a good scene.
There's very little things of fan art I wouldn't kill for.
Jem says every Clover fight move, so thank you, Jem.
I mean, valid.
I really do like when I'm able to attack while hiding underneath of someone. I think thank you, Joe, for allowing Clover to do that, because I think it's cute and funny and really helpful.
I think it's just become a routine, at least with like Finnick and Clover, because like at this point she needs like a myriad of capes, if you will, or cloaks, just for her to hide under.
Yeah.
You know what? I could totally see Clover doing the thing of hiding underneath someone's ball gown and then just lifting up the skirt to shoot them.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you guys have the espionage at a political party episode, that's all Clover's going to be doing, is hiding under someone's skirt.
Oh, we can because Whisper's so small, we can do the two men in a trench coat deal. I'll be on the bottom, she'll be on my shoulders. And
you and Whisper?
A little hole. Yeah. Oh, I don't think I can lift the rest of you guys on my shoulders.
But you could be on somebody else's shoulders.
I gotta be the one hiding. To get sneak
attack, dog.
I will say that while I've never said it out loud, I do imagine fighting in tandem with Clover is a lot like having a small dog run through your legs, where it's like you kind of have to be careful not to step on her, but like you're very glad she's there and okay and holding her own, but also it's just like I need to be mindful of where you are and I don't know where you
funny.
are.
I go down in the morning. I go down in the mornings. I have a big Bernese mountain dog. He's 120 pounds and I'm 140 pounds for size reference between the two of us. And he runs through my legs. And it's like, this is very annoying and uncomfortable, but you are cute, so I will pet you so you do this again.
Yeah. No, my parents have a Bernese Mountain Dog Golden Retriever mix, and the first thing he does when he sees me, he runs between the legs and asks for like butt scratches, and I'm like, I feel like I've now trained the dog to do this. Like,
all right. I think that's gonna bring us to the end of the Forging Fates segment for tonight. Unless there's something I'm missing that you guys want to talk about before we jump off. Okay.
No, I've got nothing.
Does anyone have goals for the future? No,
Yes.
we're not going to get it.
No.
It's already late. It's late. My bad. I didn't see what time it was until I asked that question.
This is going to be the longest segment of recaps. I'm sure the next 2 shows will go pretty quick.
My goal for the future is to move on to the next segment.
Yeah. My goals,
short-term goal.
Real quick, my goals for this year for this channel is to continue growing. I'm going to work a lot harder on social media to make sure we can draw in more people for that. And I just want to keep bringing the best content we can for you guys. That's really going to be my goal for this year. I hope you all join us on that adventure for 2024. Anyone have anything else?
No.
God, I love you, geeks.
Yeah, we love you, geeks. Stick around. We have the cast, some of the cast of Queer and Present Danger coming up next, where we're gonna get to talk to them. I'll be here. Cece will be here. I think Dom's gonna hop off because he's still hanging, getting over the New Year's time shift. He just teleported a whole year forward, so he's gonna go ahead and get some sleep. But we're gonna have some of the other cast in here with us. So stick around. I'm gonna go ahead and get them into the chat, and we'll be back shortly. Love you, geeks.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Love you all. You're like, it's only an hour and ahead. It's only like 10 something, like 10:15 over there.
Oh, we went live, by the way. I did that on accident.
Oh. Well, hi guys.
Sorry, guys.
Hi.
Hit the wrong
Welcome
button and
back.
we're live. So, welcome back. I have some of the cast here from Queer and Present Danger. Let me make sure, because I got a 20-second delay on this. I want to make sure yep, there we go. Did it on accident. Totally fucked that up. All right, so that being said, we have the amazing Cece once again, the DM of Queer and Present Danger. No introductions needed. We have Rima. Wow, the aggression. We have Rima Rabbit. Rima, go ahead and tell us a little bit about who you play on Queer and Present Danger.
Yeah, so I am the morbid little necromancer tiefling child Bloom. And if you're going to raise the dead, don't be an asshole.
Yep.
Don't be a dick.
That's
if you're
don't
gonna
be a
raise
dick,
the
don't
dead.
raise the dead. That was what it was.
And of course, we have the amazing Hans. Hans, go ahead and tell us a little bit about who you play.
I play Ashira Stymir. She is our party's storm cleric. She's a sea elf, which is exciting. Very different. Our party is a really cool mix of people, so I'm excited. It's great.
All right. With that, I'm going to turn this over to Cece so you can give us a little bit of breakdown about the story so far on Queer and Present Danger. We're only 6 episodes in. It's the fifth episode technically, but episode 0 counts as its own episode. So episode 5 is posting on Wednesday at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So you can catch the latest episode on Wednesday. But for everyone that saw it up to now, why don't you go ahead and give us a little rundown of the events that have transpired thus far?
Yeah, so if those in the chat don't already know, Queer and Present Danger is a completely homebrew campaign. And so far, we got a sort of basic introduction to the world where all of these different, all of our player characters arrived in the town of Holden to celebrate a wedding between the Princess of Holden and the Prince of Aramore. And when they all arrived to the wedding, turns out the princess wasn't actually the princess. She was a doppelganger, or Doobelfluber, as everyone likes to call them. And they were then hired to find the missing princess. And so they've done some investigating. They have met a number of NPCs, the most prevalent of all being Dorian, who is a new local the owner of the local library. And after interrogating him, they have now discovered the reason behind these weird mirrors that are seemingly transporting people to the dream realm. And in the most recent episode, Dorian brought them all in to see if they could try and find the missing princess.
Okay. So, with a quick overview, without giving too much spoilers, let's start with, I think let's start with Rima, seeing as you're on the top on my screen. Let's, what a little bit about Bloom can you tell us?
So Bloom is recently orphaned, and she was raised by two necromancers. And, you know, her being a little girl trying to navigate death in a way that she wasn't raised to think of it. You know, she was raised in a way that's like, you know, you can use death. You could use the leftover energy that people have in order to, you know, animate things or bring life to, you know, I guess she's used to death being treated like residual life energy that you can use to create beautiful things, and that, you know, death isn't necessarily the end. So, at least the way that I modeled her is like, this is a girl that has to now grasp what death actually means. And I don't know, I'm so invested already, and even though I'm playing Bloom, I kind of feel like I'm waiting to see how she processes everything as she gets older.
And what about you, Hans? What can you tell us a little bit, without giving too much spoilers, what can you tell us a little bit about the backstory of your character?
I guess I could kind of talk a little bit maybe about where she's from. Like, Cece created this really cool world, and one thing that we kind of got to do collaboratively is kind of create kind of her home city, which is a floating city that moves around. And I hope at some point get to actually see it, because I think the rest of the group will think it's really super cool. But being, you know, a sea elf, she really has had no experience being on land whatsoever, outside of like the upper part of the city that would be above water, and then the lower part that stays underneath. And I think like that has kind of been interesting to have a little bit of she understands what things are, but she's never seen them. And so I think like for her, that part of her backstory is really fun. And as we can like go further inland and see more things that she's never experienced, I'm excited for that part of it. And really kind of, I guess the other big part, being kind of the only one in the group I think that has like a very strong connection to the gods currently is interesting. Just with some of the world lore of like the castigation and all of that that's happened, and kind of how the rest of the world views the gods where she's from, like there's complete faith in them still, and I think that's kind of a really integral part of her backstory.
Okay. And Cece, this being your first time you're really running a D&D game, or D&D campaign overall, what has this process been like for you? Like creating your own world, coming up with a story, how's that process been?
It has been a really fun yet challenging process. Because this whole thing started out by me being inspired to create a pantheon of different gods. And so I kind of built the world off the top of that. And I guess the biggest thing for me is definitely having other people to bounce ideas off of. That's the best way that I'm able to like brainstorm and like how I've been able to come up with the world, the history, some of the plot. Obviously, this is still, I honestly feel it's still kind of like a bare bones world, and I have to come up with a lot of things on the fly. It's a very, again, it's super fun to do, but it's just kind of like a mental exercise in a way, trying to see like what things I'm prepared for, what things I'm not prepared for, getting asked weird ass questions by the players, and I'm sitting here like, don't be a dick if you're gonna raise the dead, because sometimes my brain no work no good. But overall, it's been a very rewarding process. It's been a lot of fun, and that's been like my main goal of DMing this campaign, is making sure that my players have fun, and you know, if they want to do something, even like leaning into that yes and, but also admitting like, hey, I'm not prepared for this, or I don't feel like I have enough information to give you on a natural 20. Like it's definitely different because Joe, with you, because you have basically a pre-built world that you're just sort of able to use. So homebrew was definitely a very interesting way to go for my first D&D campaign.
Yeah, you took on a lot.
And it was such a long process to pull everything together too.
Yeah. Well, so where is Hans and Rima? Where are your characters at right now with like the story that's been presented so far, like this mystery that's been unfolding? Go ahead, Cece.
And I forgot to mention that everybody that met at like the player characters that were all at the wedding all experienced a vision of a potential future as well, which is sort of deepening the mystery to this adventure.
Yeah. So with all those, everything that you guys have kind of experienced so far in the campaign, we'll start with you, Hans. Where is your character kind of like feel? What is your character thinking about in these moments, like with this mystery kind of unfolding in front of them?
I think it's been, she's, I think, struggled a little bit with it of, they had the main vision and then kind of her god took her to show her something else. And I think one of the things like she's dealing with right now is trying to kind of figure out like the best place for them all to be. And then, you know, us having now like found the princess and we're in the dream realm, it's kind of, I don't know, I think she feels very like, we need to do this, but then also, while we're here, is there anything else we can try and find out? Because what we saw for like this potential future was like so bad. Is there anything now that we can find to do?
Okay. And what about you, Rima? Where is your character at with this? Everything you guys have experienced so far.
So, Bloom definitely gravitates towards where the knowledge is, and I think she's kind of learning that she isn't as independent as she thought she would be at 10 years old. You know, like she tried to pay for something with buttons, and you know, it's like you can't pay with these, you know. So I think she's learning that in order for her to learn more about necromancy, she's going to have to stick with a group with at least one adult in it, because you know she's questioned pretty much everywhere she goes. But when her parents died, her immediate thought is, well, the best way for me to learn something is books. And that's what I grew up with. So, you know, where's the place that my parents said there's a lot of books, castles, and big cities, you know? So now she's getting these visions like, okay, I'm going in the right direction. Yeah. And she's going on a completely different, like, side quest to go, you know, and in her mind, it's like, oh, yeah, we'll find the princess first and then we'll work on getting me some books. and she's just along for the ride and hoping that she can meet maybe some powerful enough people that she can really grow her potential. And I think for her, she's kind of selfishly thinking in the long run, maybe I can also learn how to possibly get my parents back.
Okay. What about you, Cece? How do you feel like your group is kind of like navigating the intricacies of your plot?
They have all definitely taken me by surprise at one point or another. Because I'm sitting here like, I thought this would be a simple quest. And then they started asking questions I did not expect to get. But I also appreciate them doing that. Because I'm sitting here like, oh, there could definitely be more ties into this one plot than, just a simple answer. Again, trying to talk without giving too much away, but it was just that thing where some of the things that I've created on the fly, I'm sitting here like, okay, that works. And then it's just that thing where it's like trying to find something that works, but could possibly lead into something more, 100%. I would probably say the thing with Anessa in the library, that might or may not have been an on-the-fly thing, but it also helped me piece more of the pieces of the story together, 100%. And then they all just give me so much to work off of, and I probably take just as many notes as they do during the sessions.
Okay. So we've seen I will say this, Grand Present Danger has been a lot of fun to be able to watch. It's every episode I'm finding myself laughing at something every episode. One of the things that is constantly so funny is Bloom and Toby's relationship.
It's so cute.
Yes.
It is a constant source of entertainment. Rima, what can you tell us about, like, was there a conversation first off with Dom, like, hey, we're the two kids here, we need to be chaos agents, or is this just all on the fly? Is this just all kind of like been yes ending?
Oh wait, okay, there we go. Not at first, no, but our second session, I don't know if Cece remembers, we were all talking during a break. Our second session was just Aurelith, Dom, and I. So it was like, we kind of made a joke that it was going to be like Adventures in Babysitting, where we have like the teenager and the two children, and it's just them. And, we're imagining like Talia trying to wrangle two children that are like hell-bent on causing chaos, and there's a big festival. So we kind of just never stopped after that episode. Like, it was, I know we kind of both agreed, like, yeah, let's go crazy. Let's go absolutely feral on this like festival that's being held. And then, we kind of just never, the energy just never dropped off.
So one of the probably standouts for that relationship is the communication you guys have over it's rings, I believe.
The rings of bonding.
Right. How do you guys even go into a scene like that where you're both like, what is it like for you on your end? Because I know Dom has his own, a much different reaction to Rima, to Bloom, who doesn't have any handle on magic, essentially. What is Bloom's interpretation of that?
Well, the way I see it is we have a very high charisma character, which is Bloom, and she's able to look very natural while having whole separate conversation with someone else in their head. And then you have like Toby that doesn't even really know what happened. Like Bloom just slipped the ring on him and then started like yapping. And so like, I mean, it kind of makes sense to me. It's like, how would, if you're this like socially awkward like kid and then another kid just like flips the ring, it's like, don't worry about it. And then just anyway, and you're not seeing their mouth moving. Like it makes sense to me. And it's so funny. That's like some of my favorite content too.
Yeah.
It's like watching Toby like looking over and I get to go like, Toby, stop looking at me, Toby. Stop looking at me. Just look normal.
Yeah, be chaotic, act natural. That's fair. What about you, Cece? You have any questions that you'd like to dive into your cast with?
Not quite yet. I do just want to say, how I didn't realize how, I don't want to say like difficult necessarily, but, for lack of a better word, difficult, it would be to run a D&D campaign where 2 of the PCs are literal children. Because I'm sitting here, like, I prepared a campaign that was going to lead down a very dark path, and like Dom has talked to us a little bit about it, but it's like Toby's a child, he hasn't necessarily witnessed the horrors of the world yet, so we'll sort of see that play out in like actual time.
Change nothing.
Yeah.
And then
Scar that child.
yeah. Well, and then Bloom, obviously being raised in a different sort of like household, is more familiarized with some of the darker parts of life. So it's definitely odd having like 2 chaotic children who come from like 2 very different lives. So, but I guess my first question off the bat, do you guys have any theories about who took the princess, or I know you guys do a lot of like brainstorming and talking during the actual sessions, but
Yeah.
brainstorming or theories about why Anessa was taken or who took her, and do you think it plays into something larger?
The whole thing just stinks of the God of Chaos. It just reeks of God of Chaos. like replacing someone a couple weeks before their wedding, and then like the doppelganger morphs back into being a doppelganger in like the middle of the ceremony and just starts attacking people. Like it, and like the mirror. What, Joe?
I'll be right back.
Bye, Joe.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
Bye.
Bye. I'm the host now.
Yeah, like it just screams chaos, and I don't know if it screams chaos because we made it chaos, but yeah,
Well,
the mirrors and stuff.
Well, and then I guess because the audience doesn't really know about my entire pantheon yet, but there are like 2 different kind of chaos gods.
Mhm.
Because there's the one that was locked away in the dream realm, and then there was also you guys noticed it on Bloom, you would have noticed it on, I believe you or Talia were the one to notice the holy symbol around the guy's neck that was handing out the potions, which was for a different god of chaos. So it's a very intense
Mhm.
situation. But
It's a conspiracy.
100%.
Now it's a conspiracy.
Well, and it was one of those things where it was like, it was so perfect, like no one noticed, and like you don't just slip up in the moment. Kind of like to your point of like just in the middle of the wedding, that's when this happens, and it's like, and also we never really quite. I think we maybe talked to the groom a little bit. But like we never really dug into like, were they involved in it?
Right.
As I think, like, I, in session, had brought up a point of, like, you know, who would benefit if the wedding didn't happen. And, like, we
That's
just
right.
don't know. I have no, like, Ashira has no context for anything political mainland. She just doesn't know.
Right. Well, because
But she's like, this is weird.
Well, because for both of your characters, you both come from, well, Bloom, you come from an entirely different continent, and Ashira, your city is never in the same spot.
No.
So, I guess it's another thing, at least for me, because I feel like you guys didn't do too much research into said, like, doppelgangers. But
yeah. And also, it's funny because, again, like, we have 2 kids in our group, and so
Right.
it's interesting to see, like, the directions that they want to pull us to, and then, like, Talia and Ashira, you know, both of us would look at things extremely from opposite sides, and so just, like, whenever we're questioning, it always surprises me, too, like, when Bloom throws in, like, a super, like, probing question that as, like, an adult, Ashira's like, you can't just ask that. And Bloom's like, full
Right.
send. I'm cute and I'm a child. No one will bat an eye. And, like, Toby, too. Dom does a great job of just, you know, acting like, you know, a 12-year-old kid just asking a ton of questions in succession. And, like, it is funny to see what points, like, the whole group kind of catches on and, like, follows.
right.
It's so fun.
At one moment where I like was asking the mirror, it's like, oh, I'm in the princess's bedroom, and then the mirror like imitated me and said, I'm in the princess's bedroom too, and I was
Panic.
in full character, and I was like, oh, okay, that's cool, and then I look over at everybody's like video, and like you and Erlith were both like,
Panic!
oh my god, and Toby and I were both like,
children. It like, to the point of you guys being kids, obviously, like, Ashira's the oldest, I think, in the group of the 4. Talia and I are both older, and it was kind of funny, like, as a cleric, I wasn't going into this being, like, a healing cleric, and then the first session, I was like, we have 2 children in this group. I'm like, I need to have healing prepped. There are children here.
Yeah. Well, and then, I guess, how do you guys feel about, like, that whole, dynamic of the party? Because, unfortunately, we had, Starshine, who played Rawu. She unfortunately had to drop out due to some unfortunate circumstances. So, with the 2 sort of, and you guys aren't even like adults yet. You're still like relatively young, and then now you have 2 kids to make sure that don't die.
Yeah.
To me, it kind of feels like Avatar: The Last Airbender a little bit, where you have like some very like
such a good reference,
real
Yeah.
deep like things happening, and it's, you know, people that are still coming into their own selves that are kind of having the weight of everything dropped on them. It doesn't feel like super comfortable all the time, but it's, I don't know, to me, I think it's a really unique way of telling the story.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess for you 2, well, at least how are you feeling as a player, and then how was your character feeling after experiencing that vision at the end of the very first session?
I think, like, me as a player, I was so excited. Like, you went into the vision and I was sitting here taking notes, and I'm like, this is really freaking amazing. I was so into it. You did, like, an amazing job of kind of really, like, immersing us into this vision and being like, here's a potential outcome of what you guys are going to be doing for the next year in game time. And like, me as a player, I was so excited to, like, kind of get that potential snippet. Ashira, because of some, like, backstory things, she very much was, like, had been questioning really why she was, like, why was she told to go to the mainland? What is she supposed to do? And, like, having that vision, she goes, oh, I understand now. And, like, for her, that moment of, like, clarity and given purpose was really, I think, beneficial for her to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
For me, it was just like super awesome that we had that on like the first episode. Like we're just already invested completely. We are in it. So no, I was also like, I'll probably have to watch it back, but like all of our heads just went down because all of us are just furiously taking notes. There's so much. There's so good. Like it's good soup.
Thank you. And then I guess one other thing that I've sort of noticed as a common theme around the party is paranoia. Granted, you guys probably have like valid reasons and arguments for the paranoia, but like even if you're doing absolutely nothing, you're all sitting here like terrified. Does that stem from the vision? Does that stem from the whole mirror situation, or
Errors?
Honestly, a big part of it was the mirror. But I guess another part of it again is like it's so different. And like you have like children thrust into it, and you have even adults that are like, I don't know what's going on. This is weird. Now there's things coming out of mirrors, and they can copy us. Terrifying.
Rima, I guess I do have a question. What were you thinking as a player when the mirror started mimicking your voice when you were in Princess Inessa's room?
It didn't click that the mirror was mimicking my voice until Ashira asked, like, is the mirror trying to mimic Bloom? I was like, I think I was just in Bloom space. I was like, I am Bloom right now. Everything is great. And like that just snapped me back into reality. So that gave me whiplash that the mirror started imitating me.
Fair. I guess one last pressing question that I have is what do you guys think of Dorian? Because everybody seems to be always keeping a close eye on him. And you all are insanely suspicious, but I would just overall like to know how you yourself as players or your characters think of Dorian. If you have any theories about the library owner.
Why does he have so many mirrors? So many of like this specific mirror. Like he had one, weird stuff happened, he went back and got another one. I mean, I get he told us why, but it's still weird.
I'm still so deep in this conspiracy theory land. So I mean, the fact that the library is closed for renovations right now, and there's a broken mirror, and he keeps saying like, oh, I don't know how it broke, and then he like rush orders a new one. He's like immediately like, I have to replace this mirror so quickly, and you guys aren't even open. So like, why do you need this mirror so bad? And then like, I guess it's just a lot of coincidences. The fact that he kind of only answers things if we ask him very specifically about it. But like, we're sitting here asking, what do these mirrors do? And he's like, I guess I'll spend 10 minutes figuring out what it does. Oh yeah, it does the thing that took my family away. Like, I'm sitting here like, you know that already.
You knew
and
it.
He sat here and like, let
Right?
me think about it. Well, it might be a mirror of life swapping, but
He
know,
is
it's
so
like,
suspicious.
he's so obsessed with these mirrors, and yet he's like, I don't know anything about them. And like, then we think back at like the chaos god theory, and I'm thinking, if I were a god of chaos, who would I want to infiltrate? It's like, let's do politicians. and like, I guess this librarian is always in the middle of everything. Like, the princess talked to him all the time and was always
that's what
over
he
there.
said, though.
And, like, there was a
Did she?
mysterious like letter saying meet me at midnight, like on the night of the wedding, you know. Just like, I'm suspicious of this man, but he seems to be going out of his way to like gain our trust. So
That is fair. Joe, I do have a question for you, because I know you said you've been watching and you're obviously there most of the time when we run the shows. What are you thinking so far about the campaign?
I'm having a lot of fun. Real quick, I know Sane Cat Lady posted her conspiracy theory. I'm assuming it's a her because lady's in her name. The princess staged the whole thing because she didn't want to get married. Obvious.
We
we
thought
went
that
down
too.
that
Right.
rabbit hole. We
We
went down
did.
that rabbit
Yeah.
hole
So
so
hard.
hard.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry.
Well, and then the whole thing of like they haven't found the advisor yet
Right.
either.
Right. There's a lot of open threads, a lot of different paths this game could go down. It's been really fun to see you as a DM, like, flex those creative muscles, and you know, I can see the trepidation at some points where, and I you know, me is not that I'm a fucking professional DM, but like a little bit more experience, like seeing you like come across these hurdles with your players has been a lot of fun for me, and it's been a lot of fun for me to watch you grow as DM. That I would like to say first and foremost. This story is super fucking interesting. I love the mystery that you got started already in the beginning, like this like almost like a whodunit mystery, like obviously something's fucking happened. Who has set this up? And like the your players trying to like find these links between the things going on has been a lot of fun, especially with the fucking chaos crew between fucking Toby and Bloom there, constantly just taking a chaos grenade and tossing it in the center of everything. Like, yeah, let's have a fucking secret conversation between each other. So it's been a lot of fun for me to watch from this end as a finally getting to just watch a show. I've had a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Cece,
I think
did
that's.
you... Oh, sorry.
Sorry, go ahead. I was gonna say that's all the questions that I had for you guys. But
I was gonna
suppose-
ask, when you created an all LGBTQ cast D&D show, did you think that we would make two PCs literal children? And how has it been? Have you had to like adjust anything in the campaign for kids?
Quite literally, no. It definitely took me off guard because I know during like the general session 0 that we had as a cast that people were throwing around ideas, and you had brought up the idea of playing a child, and then Toby had brought up the idea of playing a child, and I'm like, okay, I can try and figure out a way to make things work. But I've also kind of realized like the real world doesn't adjust itself for children, unfortunately. And also in just the D&D realm, and the world in Dorplasia, the state of it currently is also sort of obviously headed towards a very dark path. And at least for the vision, it's very clear that whoever sent you that vision saw a lot of potential. So while you guys might still be children, you're still clearly powerful enough to do it. So it's also just a matter of things of like, you have like Ashira and Talia to help you guys out. Granted, they're not that much older, I don't think. But it's another general theme is like trusting in each other, relying on each other. And it's like these kids know they're safe with these people, but it definitely caught me off guard completely. And I'm like, obviously, I know Forging Fates is a sober campaign, and QPD isn't necessarily. So I kind of realized that, okay, I don't have to prepare for like a whole bunch of like drunken chaos with 2 kids. But then I got sober chaos with these 2 kids.
Caffeinated chaos, which is potentially
possibly worse.
worse.
I feel like it might be, yeah. I'm glad you didn't adjust anything though. I feel like it's gonna get deep. It's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Well, and it's also just that thing where it's like I wouldn't, if I wanted to adjust it, I wouldn't even be sure how to adjust it. Like adjust a campaign. I've had this story like sort of laid out, and then basically most of the missing parts were relying on the players. So, I basically, well, the NPCs might treat the kids differently, but the DM certainly will not.
All right. Well, I think it's a good time to kind of dive into some superlatives. Superlatives. That's the word I said.
You're doing great.
I'm really trying that here, folks. So I got the list that CC you came up with originally. I'm gonna ask a few, and then I think you got a new list for some that we can ask too. Okay.
Okay, I'll find something.
Okay. Most likely to arm wrestle an orc.
Toby.
Yeah, Toby.
Toby.
Most of these are gonna be Toby. Let me tell you.
I feel like he's the most chaotic out of the entire group. While Bloom is like very close, Toby just...
It's like unbridled chaos and then organized chaos.
Bloom
Oh,
is
100%.
strategic chaos. Bloom,
Yes.
Bloom, like we got reactive chaos and strategic chaos. We got the Bloom's thinking like pick your battles, think long term. I see it, but we need like a Toby meter on all these questions. Like ding, how many times is just Toby?
All right, let me see here. Most likely to be an influencer in modern times.
Talia.
Yeah, I feel like Talia.
All right. Why do you think that?
Yeah. Well, I'm personally stuck between Talia or Bloom. But it's the whole thing of Bloom would be on like a completely different side of like TikTok than everybody else. Making videos. Well, making videos about things that people aren't necessarily aware of. And
It would be like
that.
a Bloom and Withers TikTok channel, though.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, Talia would be like ballet slippers unboxing. You know, like I feel like she could do like
Book of the week.
Yeah,
She's really into
exactly.
books.
But then like Bloom and Wither, it would be like it'd probably be like, don't be a dick if you're gonna raise the dead 101.
Yes.
Oh,
And then,
yeah.
then she has her
100%.
random like cryptid theory videos.
Yep.
Most likely to become a teacher.
Ashira.
Yeah, I would say Ashira.
Or Bloom as well. With the whole
Don't be a
necromancy
dick.
thing.
Don't be a dick.
Morals of Necromancy 101.
Yeah. I don't know. I could see Ashira maybe being a teacher. I think she would be stressed the whole time because 2 kids is stressful. Imagining a class room full of them.
Oh god.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
Just a classroom full of Tobys.
Oh my god. Most likely to look the coolest in a fight.
Bloom.
Ashira. In my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like Ashira would look pretty the sea elf.
Well, and
I'm excited to do
also
some
because
stuff later.
Well, enhance, because the things that you and I talked about in your character building session, like the possible opportunities for her going forward. Like,
can't
well,
wait.
already you're doing some pretty badass shit. So
Yeah, there's some stuff that a little bit maybe down the line I am very excited to do. It'll be a surprise.
Let's see. Well, I mean, who knows? Most likely to sacrifice themselves to save another.
I mean, I would 100% as a Shira do it in a heartbeat if it meant like Talia getting the kids out. For sure.
I feel like Bloom is stubborn enough that if she had like a
stand her ground.
means to an end, yeah, she wouldn't.
Mhm.
I feel like she wouldn't have the maturity to be like, I need to put on my own mask first and then like come back. I feel like, yeah, she'd be a little. She would do it out of stubbornness.
Who's the first one out that door then? Who's the one who's running away first?
I feel like Talia would be the one to realize how dire the situation is and trying to convince everyone to leave.
Yeah, I think like she would be the smartest in that moment to be like, we're not going to win this fight.
She's a
We
rogue.
need to go.
So
Yeah.
she like literally has the knowledge of how to like retreat really quickly.
Okay, that was a heavy question, I feel like. Who's the most likely to have a villain arc?
I'm not allowed to answer this question.
Not the one with the scary doll. Definitely
me.
not Bloom.
Not the necromancer.
No.
Never. It's Toby. It's definitely Toby.
I love that we all just accepted Wither. We're like, oh, what a cool doll. Like, I got down and shook his hand in the first episode. And I'm like, I'm waiting for your doll to be sentient at
waiting
some
for the
point.
doll to talk.
Yes.
Bloom is talking to it constantly, and and you were all just like waiting for the day it answers, and every time it's just like it's doing its doll thing. Just let it vibe, man.
It's just a doll.
Yeah, totally. Just a doll. 100%.
It took me until like our second or third session to realize it was like Wither and Bloom, like the spell Wither and Bloom, and I was like, oh, that's so clever.
Well,
That was Cece's idea, wasn't
To be
it?
on top of
yeah.
it.
Well, because the thing is like during Rima and I's character building session, she wanted her name kind of like a necromantic spell, like surrounding that, because she basically grew up surrounded by necromancers. And I'm just like, oh, well, if you took Bloom from Wither and Bloom, that would work. Because like, and my thing is like, I love creating names for characters that like legit have meaning for them. A little fun fact, I found the name for Ashira as well.
Yeah, I had the last name and I had like a list of first names that just were not working, and I absolutely CC and I brainstormed and it was great.
Character building has definitely been my favorite part of the process. So so far, well, it's fun bouncing ideas off each other, just this whole brainstorming, like, what if this? Oh, but what if this? And then that whole situation. So sorry to get off topic, but I needed to talk about that.
I think we got. Let's do one more. Who is the most likely to be the first one to die in a zombie apocalypse?
Toby.
Boom. Well,
Bloom would like go right into it and just be like, "Look at all these friends."
yeah.
I don't know though. Would they just accept Bloom as one of their own?
We go right into them like, "Oh my gosh, hi!"
It's one of the children. It would 100% be one of the children.
Or that whole thing of Ashira protecting the children.
At that point,
Well,
Zombies are a different story.
dead. So I mean,
you have a child that doesn't know the difference between the good dead people and the bad dead people. So I feel like Bloom is kind of screwed.
I just have two more that I think would be really fucking funny. The first one, most likely to commit a war crime on accident.
Bloom.
Bloom. Definitely Bloom.
Bloom.
Probably already has and doesn't even know it.
Well, because the second one is most likely to commit a war crime on purpose.
Also Bloom.
Bloom.
Yeah.
Well, I guess my thing is for the war crime on accident one, I feel like that could be Ashira as well. Just
I
with
feel
the
like
whole
if she got
emotions.
angry enough and just lost control,
yeah.
maybe. I mean, I did shatter like an entire church's windows out during a wedding, so
It's fine.
it's fine.
Yeah, accidentally.
Didn't line it up just right. It was totally an accident.
Yeah.
I
But those
feel
are the
like-
two I wanted.
Yeah, Toby by accident, Bloom on purpose. I feel like now that I have the second question lined up, I feel like Toby would do it by accident and Bloom would do it without thinking of the consequences.
It would be
Although, I don't
same
know.
incident. They're both doing it together.
I still feel like Toby could just full send something and be like, I know this is a bad thing to do, but I'm gonna do it.
I didn't ask how big the room was. I said I cast Fireball.
100% where I was going with that.
Yeah.
Any theories on where this plot line is going to take you guys for your first arc?
Oh goodness.
Oh man, we just found the princess.
Yeah,
So
it took
I
us a
have
long time to
been-
get there.
And she's in the closet with 2 Doubleflubers and a changeling.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I let go of the theory that she went on her own volition. And I'm starting to, I have a couple of things cooking. I'm like stirring each little, I'm cooking all of them.
None of them are on the back burner. They're just all slowly simmering.
I'm like leaning into like she was tricked into like going willingly. Like she was not told the truth, but she agreed thinking something else is gonna happen. But then like arc wise, it's like 2 ways. Either we go back and we figure out what actually happened and how she got there and we're back in our realm, or we're gonna mess around in the dream realm some more. Like there's 2 choices here.
Yeah, I guess my thing is like, again, the whole dream realm thing.
Mm-hmm.
Keep in mind, there is an ancient god locked away somewhere there.
I mean, if we were to accidentally commit a war crime,
Or
Dream realm is
happening
the
soon.
best place to do it.
just let him out. Sorry, guys.
Man, what
We
if he's
caused
already
it.
out?
Oh, could you imagine we are the cause for the
Well,
vision
hopefully
we
you
saw?
guys can
Not
stop
us
it.
stopping it, we started it.
It's like an episode of That's So Raven, like a really long episode of That's So Raven, where she like sees a vision and then tries to prevent it from happening, and then she makes it happen by trying to prevent it. Be like that.
Oops.
Yeah. To your point, you just said it. I caught it. We were all talking, but I heard you say it. What if he is out? We have no way to know.
That is true.
Yeah, what if we all went into the dream realm and we were the ones that got tricked into going, and then like we're just never like going back?
Because he was really willing to bring us through the dream realm.
So willing to. That's why I specified in my question, are you willing to bring us there and then definitely bring us back home all in one piece and definitely alive? Like,
And he was like,
I
let's
need
go.
specifics here. I need a contract.
but it was still, are you willing to and not are you going to? So
Well, and then also because you guys have found out that he's able to access like 7th level spells too.
He like seemed so just like willfully unhelpful when we first met him, and then every time we've talked to him since, like his answers change just a little bit and we get a little bit more, and I'm like, he's totally playing us 100%.
just the librarian. Oh, yes, just very good
And then,
books here.
yeah, he's like, oh, I can use plane shift, and we're like, you couldn't even find a single doppelganger.
Well, the one thing I will make to that, as I stated in the episode, that one was beefier than the others. So if they had been fighting for a while, it would have been easier for you guys to take him down.
Suspicious. We are suspicious.
I don't know what you're talking about.
We trust nothing.
Cooking all my theories right now. Stirring them all.
Oh, I'm so excited to see what happens to him, because I still think, like, he's so using us. And I don't know if it's going to be, like, a now thing, or, like, down the line. We're going to trust him after this, because nothing bad happens, right? And he's 100% going to use our trust against us.
I look forward to every session. I'm, like, counting down the days. Like, I don't even feel like I'm in the party. Like, I'm, like, watching it all happen. I'm, like I'm just
So
waiting for the
good.
next episode to come out. Oh, my gosh. Sometimes I forget I'm, like, actually, like, playing. I'm just sitting here like, wow, this is a really good show.
Yeah.
Well, and again, like I stated earlier, it's my goal to make sure that like you guys are enjoying yourselves during this campaign, whether that be because I'm anxious, nervous, or just like the, those intrusive thoughts. I'm like, that was my whole thing. It's like I had fun DMing the few one shots that I've done in the past, and I'm like, okay, I think I'm ready for a campaign. So
You're doing amazing, and we as an entire cast will fight all of your intrusive thoughts.
Yeah. Individually. All the might. We got this.
All right. Well, I think that's going to bring us to the end of our year-end wrap-up for Korean Present Danger. Cece, give us a quick rundown of when we can find you guys again.
Yeah, so we have this week off, but our most recent episode will be up on Wednesday at noon Eastern time. So next week, Wednesday, we will be on this channel, same starting time of 8 p.m. Central Standard, or 9 p.m. Eastern, or whatever the fuck it is on the Western Coast.
7 p.m. Mountain Time.
6 p.m.
Perfect.
I thought it was 5.
And then we...
I thought it was-
Oh my god,
Um,
no.
I don't know how time works.
This again.
However, the 10th we'll be taking a short break after that because I will be getting my wisdom teeth out 2 weeks after that session. So unfortunately we'll have like 4 weeks off. But make sure to check out our YouTube so you guys can get all caught up, and I'm super excited.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me tonight on this year-end wrap-up. Real quick, hopes for 2024. Any resolutions, whether it be for your character, for you professionally, or for you personally? Cece,
Okay.
starting off at the top.
I guess one goal I have is to do more networking. I would love to have some guests on the show at some point, and then also I'm currently working on photography as well. That's something I'm really passionate about, so I'm trying to do more with that as well.
Yes, I'm pressuring her to launch the business at Gen Con next year. We're gonna start taking appointments, whether CC likes it or not. So, we'll
Okay.
check out for that. What about you, Rima?
Personally, I'm gonna try to drink more water. I suck at drinking water. I did like pretty decent job this year, and then I kind of fell off. So I'm gonna try to be more consistent with drinking water. And then character-wise, I think Bloom just really wants those dang books. And Dorian's necromancy book collection was all about morals, which is gross.
Boring.
So
Who needs
yeah,
them?
no. So we're gonna try to hunt down some higher level necromancy spells.
Okay. And Hans.
I guess I have like a couple personal ones. I know one of the bigger ones is being more comfortable doing things like specifically to like TTRPG publicly. So I've been GMing more this last year, and then going into 24, I'll be GMing at quite a few more conventions, including Gen Con. And then just, I think the other part is like a continuous one of just working on being like happy with like myself as a whole person. And so I think like that's an important one to just continuously work on.
All right. Well, with that, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to be right back with some of the cast of
SpellShots.
My brain
and
doesn't
Good
work.
Berry?
I have brain damage, guys. Give me a break. Jeez Louise. We're going to be back with SpellShots in a couple minutes. We have Gem and Mr. Kapow. I just love saying his name because whenever you say it, you gotta fucking say it with oomph. Mr. Kapow! So we're going to be back with them in a couple minutes, and we hope you all stick around to get the recap on all the things that are happening there and get some deets on the characters they play. We'll see you guys soon. Bye.
Bye.
And, well, we are back. There's no background. Why is there no background now? Everything, like, I was so good the whole time. And now,
It's because I'm here.
Yeah, you're fucking everything up, Gem. Let me see here. Nope, it's just gone. It's just gone now. Is it on stream?
No, there's no background.
We're still on the break. I mean, I believe. At least that's what I'm saying.
No.
Oh, now we're on. We're on.
Let me see if I can fix this somehow. No, it just gave up on me totally. Cool. I love it. Makes sense. That's how things work. Let's see here. Yeah, the whole I can't even get it on the other scenes.
Sorry. I broke it.
All right. Well, while I fix this, welcome back, everyone. There we go. I fixed it. All right. So, welcome back. I have some of the cast of the awesome show SpellShots with us tonight. I have Mr. Kapow and Gem, our amazing co-owner and creative director. First and foremost, let them introduce themselves. Mr. Kapow, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us all about your character?
Well, greetings and salutations. As Joe here said, I am Mr. Kapow, aka Michael Pow. You can find me all over the internet on my social medias, which is usually at Mr. Kapow. That's MRKAPA. And I play Key on SpellShots. You're a little plasmoid slime boy who's a rogue artificer now. And so that's my character.
And Gem.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Gem. You can find me at Gemboree on almost everything except for Instagram, which is Gemaginative. I do a lot on this channel. I play Whisper and Forging Fates. I run Goodberry Cafe on the second Monday of the month. And on SpellShots, I play Mira. She's just a small town girl who has dreams of the big city, making it big in Hubris. I couldn't remember the name of the city. And she's a pretty badass sorcerer. Yeah.
So, SpellShots is our fan interactive show in which is set in the homebrew world made by our amazing Jeremy, King Jeremy to some. You can find that every other Tuesday on this channel, where you can go ahead and interact with the show and help either give boons to the players or boons to the enemies. That being all said, you guys would know better than I do. Why don't you give us a little bit of a recap of the story so far on SpellShots? Whoever wants to go first.
Okay, I guess I'll go first.
You can go first. I'll pepper in details. Yeah.
All right. Well, Spell Shots is we play kind of a series of one shots. So every session is kind of a new adventure, and we kind of have like usually a new guest with us in our party. So that's really fun. It, changes up dynamic really a lot. But kind of the overarching stories, we have kind of like two threads going on right now. One of them is solving the mystery of the black crystals, which has been kind of corrupting kind of the world, people, and kind of, me personally, I'm thinking like it's kind of necromantic in a way,
there have been like skeletons brought back to life from these corrupted crystals and like bad shit. So.
Mm-hmm. And we're also now trying to find and rescue the king's uncle, who has been locked away, and well, we have no idea where they are, so we're trying
in the north.
Yeah, in the north. They're somewhere in
and
the
they're
north.
not dead.
Really know. And so
they're not dead.
Yeah, and they're not dead.
Okay.
They seem to be dead, but
yeah. So, that being said, let's start with you, Key. So, I'm calling you Key. Mr. Kapow. Mr. Kapow. So Key has been I think outlandish is probably the best way to put his personality. Yeah. Or their personality, rather. What kind of went into your thinking to creating this slime character? What was the process behind bringing that character to life?
Honestly, the first one would be, I guess, my fave, kind of my go-to classes in like games like D&D has always been kind of rogues, rogues and rangers. And I kind of just felt I want to play a ranger this time. Another thing was, what? I never played a plasmoid, and I had an idea where it would be really cool to have a rogue plasmoid who can kind of create their lockpicks by forming the lockpicks from their, slime.
Yeah. So what was kind of like I know a lot of Key's backstory is hidden in mystery. First and foremost, let's talk about the note. This note that, for those who don't know, let's give us the rundown of the note there.
Well, the note, let me just pull up really quick. I have the notepad here, actually. It's...
How dare you not have this memorized already?
Yeah. They pull out the note and just go, hello, race or, type person. My name is Key, D-grade artificer, wealth redistribution specialist, and silver-ranked adventurer. It is a pleasure to meet you. I hope we get along. If lost, please return to Master Lock in Juarin at 827 South Sandpile Way by the kebab stand, then turn left on the second date tree, and if you see the tea shop, you've gone too far.
So what brought about this fucking note? What was the thinking behind I need something to let everyone know?
Honestly, I just thought it would be really funny, and the fact that he is the whole backstory of what we know about Key is they don't really know much about themselves. They're essentially about 3 to 6 years old, because it's counting from when they were discovered. So they're still learning all about the world. So they have that awkward social anxiety a little bit, and also they're not sure how to deal with other people. And I see their mentor Locke having gone through, you've, so you don't have that anxiety, or you don't F up socially. here's kind of a little tutorial, a little guide.
Yeah.
And in game as well, Key often refers to Master Locke's 1001 plus 7 rules of adventuring, which is kind of a take from, if you're a fan of Star Trek Deep Space Nine, it's the rules of acquisition from the Ferengi.
All right, I gotta ask, do you have all 1001 plus 7 rules listed already?
I have some of them, and
Okay.
I have been keeping track. A lot of these are just made up on the fly,
Right.
but I have, if you want to, here's 3 of them really quick
Okay.
I have here. Rule 117, always try to get a meal voucher, which is also a personal rule of mine. Rule 272, while we may be thieves, we do still have standards.
Right, of course.
And rule 1008, do your best, which you should do in, real life as well.
Right, I feel like there should be higher.
Yeah. It's the added rules, the plus 7.
Gotcha. It was added in later.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's turn over to Jem. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the character you play and give us a little bit of the backstory that kind of went into her.
Yeah, so I play Mira. She is a hot sorcerer of the mind. She's a smoke show. She is a hairdresser in a small town who dreams of becoming a fashion designer in the big city. So that's why she becomes an adventurer. She just wants to raise up some money to buy an apartment and make the move to Hubris, where she can realize all of her design dreams, because she's meant for a bigger town than Bass City, which is where she grew up. Yeah, she's got her cutting shears are her arcane focus, so she casts her spells through her cutting shears. She's got a hairbrush mace. She's just vibing. I don't know.
That's phenomenal. So I know we had a whole episode dedicated to a little bit of the backstory of Mira.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like for you to have developed this like backstory and to essentially be fighting against it in an episode?
Yeah. The one that where you're in Bass City?
Yeah, where you fight your boyfriend, fiance? What was? I don't remember exactly what it was.
That runs my boyfriend, unfortunately. We'll see if they're still together. I don't know. He did try to kill her and like sell his soul to
listen. Things happen.
Try to be closer to her.
When love's involved, things happen.
Yeah, she's not really enthused about where this relationship is going. No, it's pretty cool. It's one of the things with the way that this show goes is I felt I love creating like really in-depth characters, and with the one-shot kind of style that we've been running with, I've been like, okay, I'm like super excited to get deeper into things. So that episode was really cool because it did feel like we got to dive a little deeper. Also, fun fact, Mira is basic for anyone who's a musical fan. Mira is basically a copy of Vanessa from In the Heights. So
okay.
She was my inspiration for this character. So.
Okay. So based on all the things you guys have kind of experienced so far in these episodes, where do you feel like the story's kind of leading you guys? Like, do you have any theories about what these black crystals might be? Where they're kind of drawing you towards?
I think he is right now their end game goal is to try to contain said dark crystals and kind of just unravel the mystery of them. And like me personally, I would love to see Key figure a way to utilize them actually, in game, or at least purify them. Because I'm pretty sure if you can't utilize them, maybe at least purify them, then utilize them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what about you, Jem?
Well, Mira believes that these crystals have corrupted the king, and the king is like being possessed by these crystals or something that's going on. So, and that's why he's a jerk. Also, Mira was super interested in Veli, the grave cleric that we adventured with for an episode, and yeah, Mira was like super about Veli, and then Veli went and stole the crystal, and I feel like we're gonna have Veli come back at some point as like one of our big bads, which is kind of exciting.
Yeah.
Mira's also got some weird stuff going on with her. She got cursed by a god, and has apparently been to some place called the Dreaming, and doesn't really understand what all of that is. So I'm excited for wherever that line of story is going.
Okay.
Yeah, I would love to see Harley come back as a Bailey. Also, the fact that he is pretty much you consider them as an innocent, so they still consider Bailey as a friend. They don't really have much experience with being betrayed. Honestly, not even with death. So that would be kind of a really, really interesting kind of situation to be put in with that character.
Mm-hmm.
So, Jem, you kind of already said the inspiration for your character. What about you, Mr. Kapow? Did you have any? I gotta say it that's the way I'm gonna say it every time. I'm sorry. Do you have any inspiration for Key?
Oh yeah. Like I said, I draw like stuff that I like from fandom to kind of create like a lot of my characters, such as the rules of acquisitions from the Ferengi race is the rules of adventuring, basically. Let's see, characters. I would say, kind of. You remember a movie called Short Circuit with that robot Johnny Five?
Yes, I'm very well aware of that movie.
Yeah,
80s movies are the best movies, Jem. You need to focus up.
He is a little bit like Johnny Five in that wide-eyed, innocence where they're discovering the world for the first time. They also have that optimism of, SpongeBob SquarePants. And like I'm basically trying to draw as many ideas of wholesomeness for this character.
Okay.
From whatever fandom,
All right. And did I ask this already? Any theories you guys have as to where this is gonna go? Like, I asked this already, didn't I?
Yeah.
I'm doing a lot of things here, guys. I'm
It's
sorry.
fine. It's the first of the year. We were all doing something
I was working,
last night. Right?
But
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's something.
But if you want to ask us, how about where we want our where you want our characters to go?
Yeah. Where do you guys hope that your characters end up by the end, like in the next couple sessions, and then like in the future?
Jem, do you want to take that one first?
Sure. In the next couple of sessions, I know that the last episode, Mira went out for drinks with Emmerich, and Emmerich had some information for Mira, so I'd like to know where. Oh.
Sorry, I just want to say real quick for our sober viewers, SpellShots is not a sober show, so if those sort of things are triggering for you at all, we understand. But it is not a sober show, so there will be alcohol references for all the things coming from this point on.
Hi. Yeah, I'm curious to see where that information goes. I'm curious to see how what Mira's gonna do about her boyfriend who tried to kill her. And Mira's got some interesting things in the long term. I would love to see her work towards her dreams, have her little salon that she started take off a little bit. But there's some stuff that nobody knows yet about her that I am excited to see slowly come out. And that's where I'm going to leave that one.
Yeah, no spoilers. What about you, Mr. Kapow?
All right. Well, let's see here. I guess in short term wise, especially with our next game because we are leveling up, I have decided to take a artificer ability where we get to, let's just say we're getting a new friend. We're getting a new friend. So that would be really fun. But long term, I would love to see for myself maybe a time travel episode where we see what a character or all the characters jump forward in time and kind of discover their future or possible future self. Maybe
That'd be fun.
maybe he loses their innocence and maybe maybe a big bad or something. He becoming the big bad with an army of automatons or something.
I know one thing I would love to see for all of the shows is like a multiversal episode where all the shows kind of meld together and we have some insanity.
Yes, I could definitely see Key actually being a part of that, mainly for the fact that they're always kind of tinkering around with like.
Key's the one who starts all of it. It's all Key's fault, whatever it is.
Yeah. I want to. No, seriously, go somehow. He has to like appear in the other games somehow. Somehow we could somehow work that out. It'd be amazing.
Key just becomes the doctor and just travels the timeline.
Yeah. Also, I would love to see Key kind of discover their past actually, because fun fact, I don't even know the backstory of Key. When I talked to Jeremy about my character, I told them, okay, up to this point, this is what happened to Key. Everything else behind that, I want to learn as well.
Right.
So I don't even know where Key came from.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
fun.
sure that'll be a lot of fun, yeah. It's always a big ask to give your DM that much power over your character, but I'm sure you're gonna have a good
A lot
time
of
with it.
actors.
Yeah.
I think Key is a very yes and type character.
Right. Any other questions you guys had about your campaign and like what you expect out of it, what you're hoping for?
Well, I think I kind of cover most of it. What I'm hoping for, like I said, the time skip event,
Yeah.
multiverse of madness. Yeah, stuff like that.
What about you, Jem? Any big hopes for the campaign?
Oh, I was just started thinking about the multiverse thing, and like Mira would hate Whisper. Like, oh my gosh, I've got like a fun question for both of us. I think.
Yeah.
How are the characters you're playing in this campaign? Are they different from characters you've played in the past, or similar?
I would say this is the most optimistic character I've played. I've gone down the edgelord route a couple times.
We all have. We've all done it.
Yeah. Yeah, I played grumbly old mages, sourpuss ranger, or honestly just DM most of the time. That's usually the route I honestly take.
Yeah.
What about you, Jem?
Mira's fun because she's the first smart character I'm playing, like ever. So it's been fun to actually like be able to solve things and figure things out. Because every other campaign I play in, every other character I've ever made, like intelligence has been the dump stat. And Mira, it's good to be like, no, this is what is happening here, and like actually be smart about play, which has been fun.
I just had an idea. You guys know that school student exchange program? What if that's part of the multiverse thing? We exchange characters for a session, different games.
A lot of possibilities we have, and nothing is impossible. I'll say that much. Okay, let's do some superlatives.
Yay!
Fuck yeah, got it.
Good job.
Got it on the first try.
Technically third, but
No, this is the first try. I got it first try. Who's most likely to have the best pickup lines?
Mira.
That makes
Probably
sense.
Mira.
Yeah, that makes a lot
Yeah.
of sense.
Honestly, you got a slime who doesn't know anything about romance, and then the
Dear.
uptight samurai.
I mean, but if we're thinking NPCs, maybe Alistair,
Mm.
that tiefling. But
Um,
yeah, Mira can work it.
Most likely to start a fight.
Mira. Once again, Mira.
A deer, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Oh.
Most likely to rage quit a Monopoly game.
I
Kadir.
kind of want to say Mira again.
No, Mira would win the Monopoly game. Excuse me.
Most
Or
likely...
she'd mess with their mind, like.
Either way, she's winning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He will just somehow turn it into kind of an endless loop of annoyance.
I'm gonna get hotels on everyone. I'm gonna own all the train stations. I'm just gonna slowly whittle you down. Most likely to be difficult to buy gift for.
I would say Key. That would be Key.
Key, yeah. I don't even know. I would buy you like some weird food.
Yeah, honestly, he would be happy if you gave him a rock. Here's a rock. Amazing.
Right, but because he's so easy to buy a gift for, you're just like, I don't know what the fuck to
Yeah.
get him.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Most likely to split the party or run off on their own.
That I would say would be a combination of Key and Mira. I would say. See that
Yeah.
happening for both of the characters.
Ooh,
Same.
Here's a good one. Most likely to get eaten by a mimic.
Key.
Yeah, Key. I'll say Key. But then Key somehow becomes like the Venom symbiote and become the mimic themselves.
You eat me, but I eat you.
Yeah.
All right, let's do one more. Ooh.
I got one I want to add after this
Okay,
one. though.
yeah, by all means. Let's see here. Most likely to retire early.
I want to say that would be either Mira or Kadir.
Yeah.
Yeah, how old is Kadir?
I think Kadir's the oldest of the three characters.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least in their, I want to say I feel late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mira is not like her ultimate goal isn't to adventure and be a hero. She just wants to make clothes.
Yeah.
So
And
once she
yeah.
gets that, she's going.
Yeah. And for Key is to see the world. And honestly, being an adventurer is the best way to see the world. Yeah.
So Key's never retiring.
No, Key's gonna, honestly, if anything, I could see Key either going into the guild's academia department, becoming a trainer, or becoming maybe a guild leader.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Needs a lot more experience, but yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like kind of the Doc Brown mad scientist kind of thing.
Just starts developing
Yeah.
crazy fucking shit for the guild.
Rory Scott!
All right, what did you have for us?
I do have one. This is for actually both, actually for all three of us, actually. All three of us. Who do you want to see as a guest on SpellShot?
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
choosing the obvious answer myself.
Yeah. How about this? Top three people.
Do you want
That
realistic
hasn't
or
been on
unrealistic?
You know what? Anything.
Anything. Okay. I want to get. I'm gonna go first because I'm obviously the most important person in my world. I want me. I want Maisie, because I love Maisie and I love everything she's been doing. And I want either George, who does the Paladin Project, or Goldie, who did the Paladin Project with him. Shout out.
That one might. I would love Gabe Hicks. Anyone from Cast Party. And let's see. Anyone from, oh man, what's the one that I really love their role play? I share it all the time. Something Brooklyn. Give me a second. You can go on while I remember this one.
All right. Let's see. For me, I want to say D'Angelo, who did Emerald Templars. I was lucky enough to play in one of their 100 of the Reckoning one shots, which was really fun. Let's see who else. Okay, this is kind of a big name, but I would love to play with Erica Ishii.
Yeah.
I think they would be a great fit in SpellShots, and honestly, I would love to have Key interact with their character. Let's see who else. Who has been on our stream?
I've got a whole list of people who've been on the show. I can read them out if you'd like for a second. I can thank all them.
No, I don't want to put anybody who actually been on the show yet. Someone new.
Yeah.
So, third person would have to be. Oh God, I know who I want to say. I'm blanking on their name right now. Oh, I found her. Time Lord's wife. I was able to play in their Oops All Monks game.
Okay.
And
I'm trying to remember mine still.
While Little Gem does that, I would like to thank all the guests we had on SpellShots this year. You got it, Gem?
Yeah, Bards of New York. They have really great roleplay. Love them.
That being said, all the guests we'd love to have, we would love to thank the guests we have had so far. We want to thank Mazface, who is amazing, and you can check her out on her channel. I'm blanking on the name. I have the business card in front of me. Gem, do you know it off the top of your head?
No.
I don't. All right. I'm going to just not be able to remember these channels because I have brain damage. Mazface. We've got John Proco, where you can find them at Insomnia John. We have Lamar Harris at Lamar the Con Guy. We've got Ryan Omega. We've got
Open Circuit Studios.
Open Circuit Studios. That's what it was. I knew it had something to do with computers. Like it was some. I knew. I can look at the logo and I know what it is. We've got D.W. McCann. We've got Harley Kane, and we've got Finn Pearson, and we want to thank them all so much for their contributions to New Age Geeks and SpellShots this year. You guys brought so much to the channel this year and so much to the SpellShots show. It was awesome having you guys around. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, I got one. I got another one. Of the guests that we've had so far, choose only one you definitely want to see returning.
Ooh.
I'm gonna go with Harley Kane, because maybe for the fact that I want to see that Key and Valley reunion a lot.
Yeah, I think it's got to be Harley.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it has to be because of the way that she left. Like that was such a crazy way to leave. Yeah.
Oh, we also had I believe, didn't we have also Lamar, the con guy?
Yeah, Lamar was on 2 episodes. One with Ryan Omega. And then the only other person besides Lamar that did 2 episodes was Maz.
Yep.
Okay. I think that's all we've got. Is there anything else you guys wanted to talk about tonight?
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna hijack your interview,
Do it.
Mr. Man.
Fucking do it.
All right. All right. So, other than Dungeons and Dragons, which this channel has mainly been kind of focusing on, I could say, kind of safely say, other than the one-shot, TTRPG games, what games do y'all want to see more of on this channel? Like system-wise, like, do you want to see? Like me, I would love to see a World of Darkness game. I love me some vampire, werewolves, and hunters.
Yeah. A werewolf, a vampire masquerade, or cyberpunk. That's where I'm at. Or Call of Cthulhu.
Yeah.
Those are my big three.
I'm gonna say a stupid one.
There's no stupid one.
There is a stupid one, and because I think I want to run it eventually using Goodberry, but I really want to play Feast of Legends, the Wendy's game.
I'd be down. I'd be down to play that. I'd be down.
But also, I want to play what's the one with the animals? Wanderhome.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mouse Ritter, Wanderhome, Pugmire, all those.
Oh, what about Roots?
Roots, yeah, that's on my list. There's so many things on my list.
Yeah, honestly, on my backlog, I've gotten so many books that I want to play / run so bad. But on the top of my list, definitely, I really want to play Werewolf the Apocalypse, mainly for the fact that that's my favorite World of Darkness game, and I used to play that a lot in my high school days. On the back in the day where they did the post by post games, I was on like a forum type thing where we played. I was on two of them: Salt Lake City by night and Charleston by night.
Ooh.
And yeah, so much fun. So much fun.
I also want to play Avatar.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Haven't played yet.
Yeah.
I'm actually in an Avatar game. I'm
I
playing
know
the
you are.
Uncle Iroh type character, Edgar Quinn
Thanks, guys.
on Johannanon.
When are you getting Jem to guest on that one?
I would love to get her to guest on that one. I'll try, but we're already
Advocate. I'm here. Listen, I'm here pressuring you to advocate.
5 episodes left.
Listen, I'm out here working the streets. All right, you can get my girl out there.
I mean, heck, I would love to run one myself.
Let's do it.
I wouldn't mind
Coming
doing
to you
like
first.
maybe a
Avatar
short,
game.
like 5-session game, maybe.
Yeah, let's fucking make it work. I'm down for whatever. We'll make whatever work.
I just need to get more familiarized with the rules because I understand most of the rules in Avatar. It's just their balance system that they have is a little confusing for me.
Is it?
Still
I don't
trying to
know it
get
at all.
used
I
to
don't know the
that.
system at all.
Mechanics.
Mine's still in the plastic wrap. It's really bad.
It's essentially a rule where it's kind of like yin and yang. You gotta, try to keep your balance on a chart between, like, for my character is experience and humidity, or not humidity, humidity. No,
Humility.
not that word. Yes, that.
That's like
word.
superlatives for me. I just can't do it.
Yeah.
You had it right the first time.
I feel like I'm saying the same word. All right.
Yeah. Oh man, so many games.
I am gonna.
Pathfinder. Anybody likes Pathfinder? I want to get back into Pathfinder.
I haven't played Pathfinder in fucking years.
They have the remaster series out now, or at least it's coming out, I believe. But I really want to play their Thaumaturge class.
Thaumaturge.
Yeah, because they F around with magic items.
All right. I'm going to steal Jem here for a little bit to talk to her about Goodberry. You're Mr. Kapow. You're more than welcome to stick around, or I can take you off if you'd like, whatever you'd prefer.
Yeah, I'll stick around. I've been on Goodberry.
Yeah, more than like I said, you can stick around. You've been a guest. Jem, what can you tell us about Goodberry this year?
this year, Goodberry took a pivot from what it was before, and it adopted a new identity, which I love and I'm so excited for. Before it was an interview show, and then I decided I wanted to play a bunch of these weird one-shot adventure games, indie games that don't normally get a lot of play or a lot of airtime, with a new group of friends every week. And we started that, I think, in January, right?
I think so.
That
I
was
think it's right around then, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so we've been doing it for a year.
New year, new me.
Yeah, I loved it. And so I've had a new group of friends to join me at the table the second Monday of the month for almost the whole year. We did miss a couple months, and we've been playing a new game each time, and they've been super fun. Some of the most hilarious moments I've ever had in tabletop role-playing games. And just getting it's been wonderful. Some of the games that we've played, I can go through that. Whereas everyone is John. I might be missing a couple, but everyone is John. big motherfucking crab chuckers. Mage Against the Machine. That was a 2-episode one.
Yep.
The Final Girl.
Yep.
A Diner at the End.
Oh,
Death Cap Saute.
Love Diner at the End, mostly because I was on it.
Himbo Treasure Hunt. Movie Night. Killer Ratings. I think that's all.
Everyone is John. I think you missed. It's the only one.
Yeah, I started with that one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think you got them all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And next week we're playing Before the Storm, which
Can you tell us
is
about Before the Storm.
Yeah. I'll read the intro to you because this one's going to be an emotional one for sure. It's the last few hours of the world as you know it. Tomorrow morning, the Stormsworn will attack, a huge army granted power by a malevolent ancient force. There's no way out of the oncoming battle. You sit in the hall of Castle Iria, yourself and your small band of companions, the people you must now trust and rely on above all others. You all have your own flaws, your secrets and regrets, things you ought to tell each other but never have. In these last hours of eerie peace, you have a chance to put that to rights. So it's like it's like a narrative game where you're going to be telling the story of your character, of everything that's brought them up to this point before this final battle, which you probably will die in. I think it's gonna be a sad one.
Yeah. Do you know who you got playing for that yet?
Yeah. So we have, pretty sure this is fully confirmed, but we have Kate the Great cosplays. We have the Table Talk host team. We've got Alejandra and Mariah, and we have Jose, from which you can see on the Cast Party channel with Fandrea, Fables of Fandrea, their show. He's the DM there.
Awesome. So I know you said you love the transition we made for Goodberry Cafe. What has been the part of it that you love the most? Is it the meeting the different, like, these more people? Or is it like the stress relief of being able to just run these indie shows instead of interviewing?
Yeah, all of the above. So in my daily life, I interview, like, as my career, I work in talent acquisition. So having to do that, like, for a non-career base, it was just like, it was starting to wear on me a little bit, and I did a lot of prep for those interviews because I wanted to respect the time that I had with my guests and also just make it a good interview. So switching helped with my stress, but it's also just more fun because I still feel like I can get to know the people I'm playing with, and most of the time sometimes they're friends and sometimes they've been new people I've never met before. And also, there's so many of these games. Like, my list of potential games that I send to the cast once we decide our cast for each month, the list is so long. There's so many games that I want to play that I discover, and I keep adding to it. Like the one that I just added, I saw it was blowing up on Twitter, Goblin with a Fat Ass. I can't wait to play that one. Like, but there's so many of these silly little games, and
what are some of the games that you really want to play?
This Before the Storm is one that's been on my list for a while. It comes from this book called Seven Wonders, and it has like a bunch of these like narrative games in it. I actually bought the book because it's the only way I could find this game. But Before the Storm, I was excited for. It also has a game that I really, really want to play called Heroes of the Hearth, which it's a narrative game again, but it's you play as the people in the town. You're not the heroes. You play from the people who are left behind. So it's like, oh, my son has left to go be a hero, be an adventurer. Like, how am I dealing with my life? And how am I dealing with the fact that I could get a letter in the mail and that could be like, oh, he's gone, you know? So I really want to play that one.
I think I heard of that game. It's kind of in that same vein as that Alice game, right?
Alice
That
is
Silent
Missing?
Alice game.
Oh, I don't know.
Let me
Not
just look
familiar.
up real-
Yeah.
Alice is Missing.
Yeah, I've heard of that game, but never like
Yeah.
dived into what it is. Yeah, there's so many. Wander Home.
Can I add a game that I kind of want to run? I think I would love to play on your game once, but so far I've only GM'd it. But there's a game I really want to run, and I think Goodberry would be great if I could run it. I just want to throw it out there. It's called Brindlewood Bay. It's basically Murder, She Wrote meets the occult. Everybody plays
Adding it to the list.
grandmas and aunties trying to solve a occult mystery.
I love that. Yeah, adding that to the list.
So
There's also
no, go ahead.
go
Finish,
ahead.
finish what you say.
there's also a Call of Cthulhu reskin with Pokemon that I want to play at some point. It's
What's
called
it called?
Pokethulu.
What's it called?
Pokethulu.
Pokethulu. Oh my god. Is there a description for this?
I don't have it in front of me right now.
Oh
but...
my god. All right. So, Mr. Kapow, why don't you just, for the people that didn't get to see it, what was the Goodberry Cafe you got to play in?
I was actually the GM for a game called Killer Ratings, where everybody played reality TV show characters going into a haunted house, but the whole premise was all the haunted houses that they investigated before were kind of fake, except for this last one.
Yeah.
And the whole thing was the haunting kind of really gets activated when one other character dies, and then and all the other characters have to escape. And one of the things I kind of incorporated that wasn't in the rules was I incorporated the board game called Betrayal at House on a Hill, where we actually built the layout of the haunted house using the tiles from the game itself.
That was a lot of fun. I remember watching that one.
Yeah.
You can catch that on the YouTube channel at new_age_geeks. Shameless plug.
Yeah.
That being said, Jem, let me ask you, who is, like, if you could build your dream cast for one of these games, what's the game and who's the cast?
I'm gonna be really disappointed if I'm not on it.
So will I.
I mean, I am so about Heroes of the Hearth right now.
Yeah.
I'm like, I keep pushing it to each group, and I'm really like that spin. So I think that's the game that like I really want to play. And now I feel like I'm being put on the spot if I don't name both of you. Because I was gonna say like the people that I haven't had yet, the ones that I would love to have as a guest on SpellShots. Yeah, I mean, Dream, Heroes of the Hearth seems like it's gonna be like a very emotional, like deep kind of a game. So I might have to go with Brennan Lee Mulligan, Luis Carrazzo, thinking of really emotional roleplay I've seen. Yeah. Let's just say that the cast of Calamity.
Just all of them. Just everyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who would DM that?
It's a DM-less game.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, I have. So the way that I organize the games that I offer to each group of players each month is I have it built out into a low prep or GM-less games, bigger prep or some GM creativity needed, and then like multi-session, like this is going to actually need a GM to prepare for. So Feast of Legends is under that list. Most of the time, people have been really interested in playing GM-less games because they've never played one, or it's very, very low prep. And it's low prep for me because I don't have to GM. So yeah, Before the Storm and Heroes of the Hearth, that whole book I think is Seven Wonders is all GM-less, I think.
Honestly, I'll say this: I think the GM-less games have been the most interesting because it's like people are going in with nothing, and it's all like just on the fly coming up with stuff, and it's been so interesting to see those games because you never know what the fuck's coming next.
Yeah,
That's been a lot of fun.
And can I also throw this out there? I would actually love seeing Gem do this. Play a solo TTRPG game. I've actually played a couple solo TTRPG games and had a blast. It's kind of like writing prompts, and then there's like a randomized table. Once again, for me, shameless plug, if you go on Fantastic Tales of Adventure on YouTube, I actually have a video where I play a GM solo tabletop game.
What's that called?
Let's see. I think it's called Followers. My channel is Fantastic Tales of Adventure.
Okay, and you can find it on there. You remember the name of the
I
episode?
think-
You want to throw that in the chat?
Yeah, let me just pop it this year. One of the more recent videos, I believe. Let's see here. It's called Pilgrimage of the Sun Guard.
Okay, if you have that link, go ahead and throw it in the chat so everyone can check that out.
Yeah, will do.
yeah, I've never played a solo one before. I know I have a few that I've gotten in like bundles, but
It's really fun, and it's also a great writing exercise. And I feel if you're playing on stream, because you kind of have to, keep the story going, it kind of really kind of fires, off all those, brain cells and fires off your creativity.
Okay. Well, that being said, I think that's going to bring us to the end of our year recap, 2023 end of the year recap. So we've got to dive in with some of the cast of Forging Fate, some of the cast of Queer and Present Danger, and some of the cast of SpellShots. And we got to talk to Jem, who runs the Goodberry Cafe, where we get to get a warm cup of goodness every month. That being said, I do run the interview show I get to do with geeky creators called Investigation Check. You can check that out. I do that whenever I'm able to. I get to interview geeky creators and dive into a little bit of their backstory as to what brought them to this geeky space. There will be more episodes of that coming this year. That's for sure. That being said, thank you all so much for joining us in 2023. We're looking forward to 2024. Jem and Mr. Kapow, do you have any... what is your New Year's resolutions, whether that be personal, professional, or your characters for 2024? Mr. Kapow, start us off.
Okay, well, professional, I actually want to try to get into the game design sphere as an industry type of thing. Also want to play in more of your, if anybody has a game out there, one shot, short term, maybe long term series, let me know. I'm down to play, and I I want to say kind of creative characters, and I'm also good at promoting the show. Also, for me personally, I want to go out hiking and camping more. I'm looking that into a hobby, and I guess this is kind of also professional. Do something with cooking, maybe a cooking show or something in the future, maybe perhaps, and go to Gen Con.
Gen Con, we'll see you at Gen Con, that's for sure. You definitely can catch New Age Geeks at Gen Con next year. We are going to have a presence there, that's for sure. No, I don't shush nothing. I'm hype man. Go ahead, Jem. What do you got for 2024?
Be feral and unhinged.
Doing a good job of that so far.
Yeah. Besides that, in this realm, I would love to do more things, play more games, be invited to guest on another show. I want to be a part of a panel at a con. That would be fun. I think I'm trying to do a live. I have not submitted it yet, but we have a local game con here in Southern California that I think I'm going to try to do a live Goodberry episode at, which would be really fun.
I want to do that too.
Yeah. And personally, I would like to build a Korra bod this year. I want to look like Korra, and have a really success. I'm returning with my theme camp to Burning Man this year, so I would like to have a really successful, good year at the Burn.
Okay. Well,
What about you, Joe?
oh, I've already done mine. We got mine earlier. Social media, better on social media. I want to make sure this channel is the best quality I can bring to all of you guys. I want to continue making these awesome connections, continue to meet these amazing content creators. I want to lose 50 pounds, but we'll see how that goes. And I want to, be happy. I think that's my number one goal for 2024 is to be happy. That all being said, thank you so much, you guys, for joining me on this last segment. I know it's been a late night, but you guys are out in California, so the least important time zone. East Coast, East Coast. That being said, you can catch me this week at ALA in California. So if you're in California on Friday and Saturday, don't bother hitting me up on Sunday because I have the flight at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'll be out there, so hit me up. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, or X. Any new Age Geeks thing, you can message me and I'll be there. What?
Are you cosplaying?
I will be cosplaying as Rainer on Saturday.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm doing my OC, all right? That's what I got. I got to go classic. Saturday, I'll just be dressed as a normal person. I mean, Friday. Friday, I'll be dressed as a normal person.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, we love you, geeks. Good night.